It's no secret that one of the biggest problems in college football today is the lack of smarts when it comes to conference realignment. We have multiple coast-to-coast conferences. The student athletes are not being put first, and frankly, it is hurting the sport as a. And so a lot of people have tried to come up with a fix to this, and one of those people is Josh Pate. If you don't know who Josh Pate is, he is a college football commentator. He has his own show called The Josh Pate College Football Show, and every year he does some rendition of his college football conferences. This year we're a little bit different than the past. So I thought, well, why don't we put those in College Football 26 and simulate out 30 years to see how those changes would affect the future of college football? And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you exactly what he had for his college football conferences, and I also did some other cool things in there as well that I think are going to make this really fun. So sit back, enjoy the show. So we're going to start in what is presently known as the American Conference. Now, for the purposes of this video, we are going to be referring to it as the Big East, and it's made up of Boston College, Cincinnati, Louisville, Pitt, Rutgers, Syracuse, UCF, UConn, Virginia Tech, and West Virginia. You'll notice there are only 10 teams in this conference, and all of the 7 conferences that Pate put together, there are no more than 10 teams. So obviously we're going to replicate that here, which means everybody is going to play everybody in this conference. There's going to be no wacky numbers of, hey, this team plays the bottom half of the conference, whereas this team is playing the top half of the conference. Everybody will play everybody, which is going to give us the most accurate record. Who is the best in the conference? Now, I can't take off the fact that every conference plays a conference championship game, so every conference will play a conference championship game. But this is the Big East, and you can tell it's made up of mostly Northeast teams, and then obviously UCF is just in there. At one point, they were a Big East team, so it makes sense, and it brings back this civil conflict. Next up is the ACC, and this is the more traditional ACC. Now, Miami was not always an ACC team. In fact, they were a Big East team before they were an ACC team. But for the purposes of this, they are in the ACC. So we've got Clemson, Duke, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Maryland, Miami, NC State, North Carolina, Virginia, and Wake Forest. So obviously when you're talking about a team like Virginia, right now their main rival is in their conference. Not anymore. So those games will be considered out of conference games if they do continue to get played, which I assume the game probably has it built in that those teams will play each other. In the Big Ten, you have Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, Minnesota, Michigan State, Purdue, and Wisconsin. So you'll notice there is no Northwestern. Pate decided that he didn't want Northwestern in there, and I think for an obvious reason, for the fact that they just don't really care about football all that much. They don't care about athletics all that much, if we're being completely honest. And Penn State adds a more competitive team, and their rivalry, in quotes, because it's not technically a rivalry, but they play really close games-ish, is a nice thing to have within the conference. In the Big 12, it is the Big 8. So when the Big 8 used to exist, it had every team outside of BYU and Utah. So the teams that are sandwiched in between those two teams made up the Big 8. Including BYU and Utah adds for more teams. It gets you to a 9-conference game schedule, and it just makes it for a more competitive conference so that Oklahoma isn't running away with it every single year. Because if you look at the overalls, right, Oklahoma is far and away the best team in this conference. There's a reason why they won so much in the 80s and 90s. It's because they weren't playing the best teams. Obviously, Nebraska in the 90s was much better than they are today. So I don't want to misspeak there because Nebraska was putting some belt to ass like consistently. That 95 Nebraska team, I think it was 95, is one of the best of all time, if not the best. So just want to throw that out there so I don't get pitchforked and torched by the Cornhusker faithful. We'll skip over Conference USA and go right to Independent, where you'll see Army, Navy in their rightful places as independent teams, Northwestern, Vanderbilt, and Notre Dame. Now, historically, you're talking about Vanderbilt and Northwestern being in conferences, both the Big Ten and the SEC, but they're just not very good. Both teams haven't been super competitive, and so I think Pate's reasoning behind that is just, hey, why don't you go play an independent schedule? You can use your academic type thing, and I don't really know. And then Missouri State's just randomly thrown in here because the numbers didn't add up, and you'll see why in a second. So we'll skip the next two. We'll go to the Pac-12. Pac-12 is the typical Pac-12. Obviously, there's only 10 teams because Colorado and Utah are in the Big 8 now. So we have our true West Coast Conference. We have both Washington teams, both Oregon teams, USC, UCLA, Cal, Arizona State, Arizona, and Stanford. So you have, everybody's got their rival, right? You have Arizona, Arizona State, Cal, Stanford, Oregon, Oregon State, UCLA, USC, and Washington, Washington State. It's the way God intended the game to be played. In the SEC, you're taking out a lot of teams. So you take out Vanderbilt, you take out Texas, you take out Oklahoma, you take out Texas A&M, you take out Arkansas, you take out Missouri. This is what the SEC looked like once upon a time. And South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Georgia, Florida, Auburn, Alabama are those teams. Now, it's still a really good conference. As you can see, there's a lot of numbers by some of those schools in the top left corner. But it's not nearly the powerhouse that you think of it today. Now, I would imagine that it's still probably the best conference in our new universe that we're creating. And then in the Sun Belt, you have the Southwest Conference, and this one gets a little crazy. Arkansas, Baylor, Houston, Rice, Texas A&M, Texas, TCU, SMU, Texas Tech, and Tulane. So Rice at one point in time was part of the Southwest Conference. They are a Texas-based school, so it made sense. But like 71 overall, 94 overall, 92 overall, 82, 78. I mean, they're just not anywhere on the same level as some of these other teams. I mean, even Tulane recently has been so much better. So very interesting conference that Pate put together here in the Southwest, but it's kind of his thing to recreate the Southwest Conference, including Rice, to be a little bit different. Okay, so now let's talk about our group of 5 conferences that we put together, because I was wondering what I was going to do with them, because there are a lot of teams. There are 60 teams, 61 if you count Missouri State, that would be left out, and only three conferences to put them. So it actually kind of worked out math-wise. So I made divisions. I brought them back. So Conference USA is going to have the East and the West division. Everybody in the East is pretty much a coastal team or in Georgia. It's pretty self-explanatory. Anybody in the West is Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. You have Middle Tennessee and Memphis. So, I mean, to me, this is a pretty fun way to do the group of 5 here. And so all of the teams on the West side are going to play each other. All the teams on the East side are going to play each other. There's going to be no crossover until the conference championship game. I don't know. I think it could be a lot of fun to track that as well. So I did the same thing in the MAC. You got your East division. You've got your West division. So in the East, you have Akron, Buffalo, Delaware, James Madison, Liberty, Kent State, Marshall, Old Dominion, UMass, and Temple. And then in the West, you have Ball State, Bowling Green, Eastern Central, Miami, Ohio, Northern Illinois, Toledo, Ohio, Western Kentucky, and Western Michigan. This one actually split pretty easily as well. The only ones that are kind of weird are Akron, Kent State, and Marshall being in the East part, or the East division of the conference. But when you look at it, really, there's a pretty definitive line that Akron and Kent State, being in the northeast of Ohio, are more east than any other school in that state. And then Marshall is ever so slightly more east than Ohio. So that's why Ohio is put in the West and those guys aren't. So it works the same way, that these guys are going to play each other in their division, and then the winner of each division is going to play each other in the conference championship game. In the Mountain West, this one is a little bit more interesting because it is a much wider conference. But it works the same way. You have your East schools, you have your West schools. In the East, you have Air Force, Arkansas State, New Mexico State, New Mexico, North Texas, Sam Houston, Tulsa, Texas State, UTEP, and UTSA. So it's pretty much the Texas division. And then in the West division, you have Boise State, Colorado State, Hawaii, Fresno State, Nevada, San Diego State, UNLV, San Jose State, Utah State, and Wyoming. So your more traditional Mountain West Conference. But those are the conferences as created by Josh Pate and a little bit me. So that is what we are going to be tracking over the course of the next 30 seasons. We're going to be looking at conference champions. We're going to be looking at college football playoff champions. We're going to check in on each and every college football playoff to see how many conference representatives there are, who ends up winning, who does what, right? That is the important thing. We're going to look at Heisman Trophy winners as well. I mean, the history tab in this game is phenomenal, and so we're going to check all of that stuff. I am super excited to be able to do that. So let's hop right in. So we will have the transfer portal open as well. We're going to say 12 transfers per team is a MAC, and it's going to be about a 45% chance that a player leaves a team in a season. Okay, guys, so like I said, I took over Missouri State. I just have to show you something real quick. Look at this. Look, Missouri State went to Notre Dame and won. Both teams finished 6-6. Okay, that's where we had to start. Now let's look at the conferences and see what happened. So it looks like Duke was able to come out on top in the ACC, besting Miami in conference, but then is followed up by Georgia Tech, Clemson, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida State, Wake Forest, NC State, and Maryland. I mean, that's pretty interesting to me. Duke sims really well in this game, so that doesn't surprise me a ton. But Clemson finishing 6-3 in conference is definitely a bit surprising. Lost to Georgia Tech, Virginia, and then Wake Forest in conference. So very odd, in my opinion. In the American Conference, Louisville went a perfect 12-0. That's not too surprising given who they share the Big East with. Boston College looks to be the team they'll play in the conference championship game, though. You're going to just see kind of a jumbled mess. Obviously, UConn is the worst of the bunch. They went 2-10, 0-9 in conference. In the Big 8, BYU won the conference. Wow, Oklahoma finished 7-5. It's the clear highest overall. That is definitely surprising. So it's BYU and Nebraska on top. BYU went 10-2. Missouri finished 9-3 in conference, or 6-3 in conference, 9-3 overall. And then Oklahoma State went 0-9 in conference, getting beat by Kansas. Colorado, I'm assuming, beat both of them as well. So that's how your Big 8 looks in year number 1. The Big 10, it was Michigan, Ohio State, Indiana, and Iowa all finishing 7-2. Now, I did see that Ohio State just beat Michigan in Week 14. I think it was in overtime as well. So these two teams will square off again, it seems, in the Big Ten championship game. Purdue went 0-9 in conference. That's not surprising at all. I just think it's super surprising that you have 4 teams from the Big Ten finish 7-2 in conference. Like, that is very odd to me. We'll start in Conference USA East, where USF pulls off the win. Who did they lose to in conference? They went 8-1 in conference. Their one loss came to Georgia Southern. 51-48. My goodness. Mike, they were putting up hella points on everybody they played, though. This team is really good. ECU finished in second in this division. And then in the West, it was Memphis. They went 11-1, 8-1 in conference. Who did they lose to? Lost to Southern Miss. Everybody else, they put up, most other games, I should say, they put up a lot of points. And then they just have this random 17-point game against Southern Miss in a rivalry game. I didn't know that was a rivalry game. That is interesting. But you had 3 other teams go 8-4 overall. So it'll be Memphis and USF squaring off in the Conference USA Championship game. In the MAC West, it was Miami that won it with a 6-3 conference record. I mean, if that's not the most MAC thing you've ever seen, I don't know what is. In the East, it was Old Dominion. They went 8-1 in conference, were able to beat James Madison to pick up that head-to-head victory. 49-31, they came out victorious. They did lose to Liberty, though, in that rivalry matchup. And then, obviously, James Madison only lost the 1 game all season long to Old Dominion. But that's going to cost them a spot in the MAC title game. So it'll be Miami of Ohio versus Old Dominion in the MAC East, or in the MAC title game. And then UTSA beats out North Texas. Oh, there's a 3-way tie. Ooh, North Texas, they did make it, and they'll be playing Boise State, who went 9-0 in conference. So it'll be North Texas, who went 10-2, against Boise State, who went 9-0. UNLV also had themselves a pretty solid season as well, going 7-2 in conference. In the Pac-12, USC at 7-2 will take on Arizona State, also at 7-2. Washington finishes 6-3. Cal at 6-3. Oregon finishes 5-4. What? They lost to Arizona State, UCLA, Cal, and USC. Wow. That's kind of like the Oklahoma thing. I mean, the next highest overall in conference is an 84. And they finished 5-4, 1 game over 500 in conference. In the SEC, Ole Miss went 11-1. Georgia went 10-2, 7-2 in conference. So it'll be, I just said Georgia, I meant Auburn. Ole Miss and Auburn will play each other in the SEC title game. Georgia finished 3rd place at 6-3. Alabama 6-6, 4-5 overall. I'll be interested to see how these new conferences shape the way that coaches are hired and fired. That'll be something to keep an eye on. In the Southwest Conference, it was Texas Tech and Texas A&M that came out on top. Texas went 5-4 in conference. I'm assuming that one of the games they lost was to Texas A&M. They lost to Houston in conference. They lost to SMU in conference. They lost to Arkansas in conference by 2 at home, and lost at home by 3 to Texas A&M. So their conference losses came by like a combined 11 points or something like that. So they are not at all a bad 5-4 team, but they certainly won't be playing for anything. So in our conference championship games, Miami beats Duke 34-26. Boston College gets hammered by Louisville 40-10. Nebraska puts up 3 points against BYU. What? Michigan gets revenge on Ohio State 31-28. USF clobbers Memphis 45-21. Miami beats ODU 38-32. Boise State just owns North Texas 52-23. USC beats Arizona State again 32-28. Auburn upsets Ole Miss 33-25. And then Texas Tech just hammers Texas A&M 42-21. That sets up this college football playoff bracket. I'm sure you already got an idea. Auburn is the 1 seed overall. Miami the 2. Indiana the 3. Michigan the 4. Ole Miss the 5. Ohio State the 6. Iowa 7. Louisville 8 at 13-0. Wow, 13-0 conference champ only gets you 8 if you're playing in the Big East. Number 9 is BYU. Number 10, Georgia. 11, Texas Tech. 12, Clemson. This is going to be a very interesting college football playoff. I am excited to see what is to become of this. So here it is, the college football playoff bracket. It was Miami over Auburn, the 2 teams that were at the top of the world all year long, finish on top as well. I know you can't see the score of the Indiana-Miami game, but we'll break down all of the games that happened. So Clemson beats Ole Miss wow, that's a big win. Clemson was 35-30. Louisville just proves how good they are and how slept on they are with a 38-7 win over the Big 8 champion BYU. Texas Tech beats Ohio State 26-14. Georgia and Iowa in a slugfest. That game, oh my God, can you imagine watching that one? Clemson then goes on to beat Michigan 38-21. Louisville finally sees their story end. They lose 31-28 to Auburn. Indiana puts up 52 on Texas Tech to win 52-21. And then Miami just puts Georgia to shame 41-20. Indiana loses 20-48 to Miami, so not even close. And then Auburn Clemson have an all-time classic 34-27, leading to a Miami victory 42-21. I mean, Miami was just clearly the best team in all of college football once it got to college football playoff time. So that was year number 1. If you thought that was fun, just wait until we get further down the line. This is going to be fun to see how things go. Okay, before we get into season 2, I got to show you something, guys. Virginia is a 59 overall. Of 59. I don't know if I've seen a Power 4 team ever be this low. Are you kidding me? And I went and looked at the roster. It is completely made up of freshman players. They don't have a left guard on the roster. They don't. There is not a single left guard. Okay, I've made the decision. We're not doing the transfer portal anymore. I cannot see teams consistently across the board be 50 overalls because they do not know how to do anything. And then you'll see like LSU and Ohio State have 8 quarterbacks that are all insane because they just can't help themselves. So no more transfer portal. Once a guy's on a team, he's on a team. Wish I did that before this year, but we're going to have to do it for the next 29 seasons. Hey, whoa. Hold on. Before we move on, I want to make sure a couple of things. One, are you subscribed to this channel? If you're watching this video, you probably should because you clicked on it, you're interested enough. There's going to be a lot of things like this that follow. Number 2, if you like this video, hit that like button, right? Show me that you like this video so that I can see, hey, is this something that I should continue to make? Are these type of video concepts that the viewers like? It really does tell me whether or not this is something that I should continue to do. And then 3, I hope you're just having an awesome day. Wanted to check in, make sure that you're doing well, because at the end of the day, we just got to live life to the fullest, right? Okay, back to the video. Time for year number 2 of the sim, and Notre Dame has done much better this time around than they did last year. It's nice to see the Fighting Irish, the little guys, standing up to the big guys of Missouri State. So let us go to the ACC and see what's going on there. Clemson and Miami at the top. Duke, however, is the number 2 team in the country as we head into conference championship week. They did lose to both Miami. Oh, they lost to North Carolina. Whoa, they beat Clemson. So it's Miami and Clemson in the ACC championship game, and Virginia actually did win a conference game. So good for them. I was a little bit worried about that. They actually won 3 games overall, so I want to give them a pat on the back. In the Big East, Louisville is on top of it yet again. Are you kidding me? Bro, that's just 5 teams at 6-3. I mean, what the hell? What am I looking at right now? I mean, this is insane. I guess we'll find out who's in it, but you got Louisville, Boston College, Pitt, Cincinnati, and UCF all at 6-3 in conference, and then UConn. They won a conference game this year, so at least they were able to do that. In the Big 8, Oklahoma on top at 8-1, and then Nebraska just ekes out BYU. These are the 2 teams that played in it last year. Looks like they're going to take on Oklahoma in the Big 8 championship game. In the Big 10, it was Ohio State that finished atop the conference in the regular season, and they will take on Michigan yet again in the conference championship game. Michigan finishing second at 7-2. Penn State also 7-2. And then Purdue at 3-6 this year. It was Illinois on the bottom of the conference at 1-8. And the Conference USA East, it is Appalachian State taking hold of the number 1 spot. UCF goes 6-3, or USF, excuse me, goes 6-3 this year. App State goes 8-1 in conference. And then in the West, it is Jacksonville State just beating out Southern Miss for the spot in the conference championship game. They beat them 28-21 back when they played in the regular season. So that is, I mean, 2 new teams in Conference USA. That'll be interesting. App State and Jacksonville State. In the MAC West, it is Toledo that went 6-1 in. Why did they go 6-1 in conference? What happened to the conference? Uh-oh, did something change in the? I think something might have changed in the conference alignment thing, the conference rules, because they should not have only played 7 conference games. We have some that played 8, some that played 9. I've broken the schedules. In the MAC East, it was James Madison at 8-1 in conference. Yeah, you've got some random 7s in here. I don't know, man. I've broken the game. In the Mountain West Conference, in the East Division, it was North Texas again, going 8-1 in the regular season. And in the West, it was Colorado State. They went 7-2, and they will be the representative of the West Division. So they played 9-2. So it seems like it's just the MAC that's had problems. In the Pac-10 or Pac-12, it's USC and Arizona State. Once again, both teams went 8-1. So we'll have a rematch of last year's game in which USC won. In the SEC, it was Florida and Georgia. So Florida makes it yet again. Ole Miss this time on the outside looking in. Oh, no. It was Ole Miss Auburn last year. So we got 2 new teams in the SEC. So that's interesting. Alabama went 4-5 this year in conference. So they went even worse. South Carolina and Kentucky at the bottom. And in the Southwest Conference, there's Texas at 12-0. Hold on. 12-0 Texas is only number 8 in the country? What? What has happened? Oh my God. Well, they'll play Texas Tech in the conference championship game, who went 7-2. So in the conference championship games, it was Jacksonville State beating App State 22-20. Arizona State getting embarrassed by USC. This is the second year in a row, 55-17. Oh my God. Colorado State beats North Texas 51-49. Unfortunately, North Texas is now 0-2 in conference championship games in the Mountain West. Nebraska and Oklahoma square off. It's Oklahoma taking the win 48-28. Nebraska is now 0-2 Oh, no. Yeah, they lost to BYU 16-3 last year, right? Toledo beats JMU in the MAC championship game. Texas beats Texas Tech by 4. Louisville, back-to-back champions of the Big East. Georgia beats Florida 27-19. Clemson beats Miami 41-18. And then OSU gets revenge from last year's Big Ten championship game, beats Michigan 42-35. Now it's time to look at the college football playoff bracket. Let's see what we've got. So it's going to be Georgia, Duke, Ohio State, and Florida as your top 4 seeds that get buys. Arizona State, Penn State, Clemson. Oh, I missed USC. Texas, Miami, BYU, Ole Miss round out the rest of the teams. So, wow, Texas is a 9 seed at 13-0. That seems very odd. But let's advance to the national championship and see who comes out on top. So your national champion is the Ohio State Buckeyes. USC puts up another big spot in the first round over Ole Miss 56-31. Texas beats Clemson 31-29. Arizona State over BYU 45-24. Miami hammers Penn State 34-9. Then in the second round, Florida puts up 50 on USC in a game that had 90 total points. Texas loses to Georgia 35-27. Ohio State handles Arizona State 21-40. Miami unable to beat Duke. Wow, that's crazy. The two teams, like, to me, it's just so funny that Duke was the number 2 overall seed after having not played in its conference championship game. It had 2 losses. It didn't win its conference championship, and they're the 2 seed. Well, they beat Miami this time around, and then they played Ohio State and lost by 18. Meanwhile, on the top side of the bracket, it was Florida that was able to beat Georgia 37-34, getting revenge from that conference championship loss. And then in the national championship game, Ohio State beats Florida 35-24. And that was year number 2. On to year number 3. Year number 3, it's Notre Dame and Northwestern has themselves a resurgent season. We went 6-6 again at Missouri State. Let's go to the ACC. That's what you really care about. It's Miami going 11-1, 9-0 in conference. Their only loss of the season to South Carolina. They are going to represent one half of the ACC title game. The other half will be represented by Florida State. We finally get a Miami-Florida State ACC title game. It took forever, but it finally has happened. In Virginia, up to a 64 overall, won one more game again. Georgia Tech, though, wow, things are not going well for the Yellow Jackets in Atlanta. For the Big East, it is West Virginia and Virginia Tech. Both went 7-2 in conference. They will see each other in the title game in Blacksburg. First time we won't see Louisville in this game. And then Syracuse and UConn on the bottom there. UCF ranked at 9-3 overall, 6-3 in conference. In the Big 8, Oklahoma. Yeah, this is kind of what I expected from Oklahoma. We didn't see it in year 1, but we're seeing it now in year 3. They went 11-1, 9-0 in conference, and it looks like they'll play BYU. So we'll return to the game for BYU. They are 6-3, and then Nebraska kind of fell off a cliff. Went 3-6 in conference. Utah at the bottom at 2-7. In the Big 10, again, Ohio State and Michigan. I would assume that Ohio State beat Michigan. They did. 38-28 was the score of that game. They lost to Alabama in week 1. That was one of their losses. And so they'll play each other for a third straight year in the Big 10 title game. Indiana is the third team. They went 7-2, 10-2 overall, and then Penn State went 4-5. So a little fall for them as well. Michigan State 1-8. Man, it's tough to be little brother sometimes. And Conference USA East, it was App State again, going 7-2 and getting that spot in the Conference USA title game. On the West side, it's Southern Miss. Okay, so we will have at least one new representative in that conference title game. In the MAC, it did the thing again. I don't know why. I'll have to check the the conference rules this offseason, but it's Toledo again with their 5-2 conference record. I don't understand. And then in the MAC East, it's Old Dominion yet again. They went 11-1 in overall, 9-0 in conference. They didn't really get challenged, and it's doing the same thing on this side too. So they played 9 total conference games. Did they play everybody on this side? Yeah, they did. That's so weird. So Old Dominion played everybody they were supposed to, but that's not necessarily the case for other teams. I don't know, man. In the Mountain West, it's North Texas for a third straight season. They will be playing in the Mountain West title game. Can they finally win this one? We'll find out. They'll be playing Colorado State again, and it's doing the weird thing for them as well. They only played 7 games. I don't understand what's happening. It was working fine until this year, until last year. Like the first season, it worked great, and then all of a sudden, weird things started to happen. Finally, Oregon makes the Pac-12 title game. I don't know why it took this long for them to do it, but they finally made it, and they'll be playing Arizona State. So Arizona State has now made their third straight Pac-12 title game. Let's see. They're 0-2, so let's see if they can win their first one. In the SEC, Alabama is playing in their first SEC title game, and they'll be playing last year's champion, Georgia. And then in the Sun Belt.
So for whatever reason, OBS hates my microphone and wants to do this echoey BS just randomly during my recording sessions. And it's really starting to piss me off. My mic is not the issue because I go and record other things and it's not a problem. But yet somehow at some point in all these recordings, the microphone levels change and it becomes echoey. So basically what I'm saying is for the next however much time, I'm going to put a timestamp on when the echo stops. I know it's a long time because I went and checked already. I'm sorry. I apologize in advance. This has happened more times than I want to admit, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. But I just wanted to let you guys know. I'm sorry. This is stupid. OBS needs to fix whatever's going on. But again, apologize. Please continue watching the video. I love you.
Or not the Sun Belt, in the Southwest Conference, 12-0 Baylor, who just put belt to ass on the entire conference, went 9-0. That'll be representing one half, and then the other half will be Arkansas, who went 9-3, 6-3 in conference. A lot of 6-3 teams. Texas unable to repeat. Man, a little disappointing from them. So we'll advance the week, and then we'll see what the conference championship games look like. App State beats Southern Miss 34-14, so that's their second straight Conference USA title. Oregon beats Arizona State, so the Sun Devils have lost 3 in a row. That is just brutal. Brutal for Arizona State fans. North Texas finally gets theirs. They get the revenge on last year, beating Colorado State 31-25. BYU beats Oklahoma, so we've now had 3 different champions. No, they were the champions in year 1. I keep forgetting that. So BYU is now 2-time champion in the Big 8. They beat Oklahoma 35-31. Toledo loses to Old Dominion 42-30. Texas A&M. Oh, it was A&M. I thought it was Arkansas. Okay, I guess not. Baylor just hammers them, so it doesn't really matter. They go 42. They win 42-21. Virginia Tech beats West Virginia 21-20 in an all-time classic. Bama beats UGA 29-10, so Bama has got their first title in the SEC. Miami beats Florida State by a singular point, 24-23, and then Michigan wins 52-31 over Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. So that is their second. Listen, those 2 teams are probably going to play every single year in that conference. So let's check out the college football playoff bracket, see how it looks different this year. So Miami 1, Michigan 2, Oregon 3, Ohio State 4. That's how the byes break out. Number 5 is Arizona State. Number 6 is Baylor. Number 7 is Indiana. Number 8, Washington. 9, Notre Dame. 10, Alabama. 11, Oklahoma. And 12, Florida. So there are some very interesting first-round matchups. Baylor, Oklahoma is one of the ones that I'm intrigued by. Obviously, you have Alabama, Indiana. I think that top half is a little less exciting, but Arizona State could go on a run. This definitely seems like the year for them to break through. I mean, it's been tough for them, tough sledding. So we'll advance and see who comes out on top. After all that, we got Alabama, Notre Dame in the national title game, and Alabama wins it. They spent the last 2 seasons going under 500, and then all of a sudden they are they are the national champions again. And Arizona State didn't even make it out of the first round. Florida beats them 35-30. Notre Dame beats Washington 35-14. Oklahoma beats Baylor 49-27. Man, Baylor couldn't even get one in the college football playoff. Alabama wins 38-27. Then they beat Michigan 35-29. Oregon beat Oklahoma 49-46. Notre Dame beat Miami 28-14. Wow. That's pretty emphatic. And then Florida pushed belt to ass on Ohio State 59-38, and then lost to Notre Dame 35-23. Alabama, wow, that's a can of whoop up on Oregon 44-14 before putting up 45 on Notre Dame. So we had the 9 and 10 seeds taking each other on in the national championship game. I mean, obviously it's Alabama, it's Notre Dame, so they're not your traditional 9-10 seeds, but that is still very interesting to think about. The Big Ten, you keep seeing them getting seeded fairly high, and they didn't win a single game this year. I don't know, something to think about. But that was year number 3, so we've had a different national champion every single season, and I would say the conference races have been just as exciting. Okay, so I'm looking at the MAC conference rules right now, and it's saying 9 conference games, so I don't know what's wrong. I broke the game. That's the only explanation. So apparently Northwestern is actually good now. They're 10-2 this year. Notre Dame also went 10-2. Missouri State 9-3. How about it? Let's start with the ACC. It's Duke. It's Miami. Wow. Both went 7-2. Both ranked in the top 5. That is impressive to see. I think Miami's been in it now 3 out of 4 years, if I remember correctly, in the Big East. They're back. Louisville 8-1 in conference, just showing up everybody in the Big East. They'll be playing Pitt for the 3-time crown. In the Big 12, the Big 8. It's Missouri finally getting some representation, and it looks like things are starting to leak out into other conferences as well. For whatever reason, Missouri and Kansas State only played 8 games. Everybody else played 9. So I don't know why these two just didn't play unless they're playing this week, maybe? No? I don't know, man. I don't know. Did they just, for whatever reason, they didn't play the number of games they were supposed to? I'm gonna break this game by the end of this thing. Oh my God! It's not Michigan, Ohio State. Ohio State went 5-4. What? A 96 overall team, and they couldn't. Dude, that's embarrassing. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. So Michigan going 8-1 in conference. Did they lose to Ohio State? Okay, no, they lost to Indiana. And that would have been really funny. Wait, did I just see that? They're playing Michigan State in the Big Ten title game. Dude, I'll tell you what. Having to play Ohio State 3 straight seasons and then playing your other rival in Michigan State is very funny. Conference USA, yep, it's broken. It's Florida International, FIU getting the bid out of the East. In the West, it's Memphis. But somehow Southern Miss is the number 12 overall team? Bro, what is going on? They beat Missouri. That probably helped. And they beat Ohio State. Dude, I don't know what's going on in this universe, but it's certainly something. In the MAC West, it's going to be Toledo representing. Okay, we're still at 7 at least. I was like, if we go down to 6, then we've got a major issue. In the East, it's Buffalo. What happened to ODU? Oh man, dude, things are so broken right now. In the Mountain West, it's North Texas again, and they've won so much that they are now a top 12 team. I cannot believe it. Nobody is challenging them. This makes literally no sense. And in the West, it is San Diego State that is going to be repping. Did everybody play 9 this year? Okay, everybody played 9 this year in the Mountain West. So it decided that it was going to be the Big 12. They didn't play 9. That's what happened. It's what it looks like. It's going to take... Dude, what the hell? The Pac-12, it is UCLA and Arizona State again. Okay, so we have to make some sort of... I don't know. We have to do something. If Arizona State can't win it this year, they have to be like banished for the rest of this video. Because how many times can you make the Pac-10 title game and not win it? I really don't know, but it's UCLA now is the other team. In the SEC, it's Auburn, it's Georgia. Damn, that'll be a fun one. Nice little rivalry game in the SEC title game. Alabama said, okay, we'll win the national championship, and then we'll drop back down to a 5-4 conference record. At Florida at 6-6 overall and 6-3 in conference makes no sense either. And then in the Big 8, it's SMU in Houston. What? Wow, SMU having themselves quite the season. Texas at 6-3. I wonder if Rice has won a single game in conference. I have not paid attention to them at all. They probably have, but it's not getting any better for them. Let's look at SMU's schedule. Their one loss was to Texas, and they only lost by 3. Every other game, I mean, they were pretty close, but that is very interesting to see. So we could see a 2 Mid-Southwest conference if things break a certain way, and that certain way is only Houston beating SMU. FIU beats Memphis 48-31 to win their first Conference USA championship game, and then they finally did it. Arizona State puts on a show to beat UCLA 31-10. North Texas wins their second straight Mountain West football title, 31-27. Missouri, 45-13 over Kansas State. Toledo beats Buffalo 27-26. SMU does beat Houston 42-28. They do get passed by somebody. Louisville beats Pitt 35-17 for their third Big East title. UGA loses to Auburn. They only dropped to the 5 spot, though, so 34-26 is the final there. Duke loses to Miami 23-17, and the Michigan beats Michigan State 35-17. Michigan is your number 1 overall seed, it seems, in the college football playoff. Number 2, Miami. Number 3, Auburn. Number 4, SMU. Number 5, Georgia. 6, Duke. 7, North Texas. We have our first group of 5 team in. We also have Southern Miss, man. They didn't even win their own goddamn conference, and they're somehow in the college football playoff. Notre Dame, Penn State also make it. USC and Northwestern. Wow, Northwestern made it too. Dude, this is the most unhinged sim I have ever done. This is ridiculous. Okay, let's sim the national title game and see who won this season, the fourth year of our sim. Missouri State has finished the year ranked. We are the number 23 team in the country. Man, I'll tell you what, some things like that never fail to make me laugh. And it's Georgia over Auburn. They played each other in the conference title game. They played each other in the regular season. They play each other for a third time in the college football playoff. And it's Georgia that wins 45-17. So they get a little revenge on Auburn after they beat them in the conference title game. So they beat Northwestern 42-14. Notre Dame beats Penn State 42-32. Duke beats Southern Miss. Really just ekes one out 24-19. North Texas meets their end of the road, losing to USC 34-21. Miami then beats USC 28-27 in the Orange Bowl. Auburn beats Duke in the Sugar Bowl 31-10. Michigan is a first round, or not a first round exit, but a first game exit again. They lose to Notre Dame 35-17. And then Georgia beats SMU 42-35. So SMU actually put up a pretty good fight. And then Georgia beats Notre Dame 35-17. Auburn beats Miami 35-27. And obviously you saw the national title game already. So really, I think what I am learning from this is the Big Ten is vastly overrated because I don't remember the last time they won a game in the college football playoff. It's bad, man. It really is just not good. We did have two group of 5 teams, though, and North Texas is putting together a little bit of a dynasty in the Mountain West. So that's something we definitely have to keep an eye on as we continue to go through. Northwestern falls back down to earth this season. Notre Dame goes 11-1. And here we go. Miami Duke yet again atop the ACC. But now we have a new country herd from Wake Forest going 6-3 in conference. That is what you like to see. North Carolina and Maryland at the bottom. Clemson going 4-5 in conference this season. Just not very good, to be honest with you. In the Big East, it's UCF. The number 8 overall team going 8-1 this season. They'll play Louisville in the Big East title game. Trying to stop a dynasty, UCF is. It looks like we got 9 games in the in this conference this year. In the Big 8, we're back to 9 as well. I'm just making sure I forget which conferences have been hit so far. It's Nebraska and Missouri that are going to be taking each other on in this title game. Man, Utah came close too. Oklahoma down in the dumps, though. Interesting stuff happening in this conference. I feel like Nebraska has definitely been the best, most consistent school. I don't know if that would actually bear out if you check it, but okay. We spent one season without it, but it is back, and it is better than ever. Michigan, Ohio State. Who won the regular season matchup? Because this usually tells us who's going to win. Okay, it was Michigan 42-28. Who's going to win the postseason matchup between the two. Michigan State, after making the title game last year, goes 4-5. This year, Penn State is the number 3 team. Michigan has just got a little bit of a dynasty going here in the Big Ten. And Conference USA East, it is ECU. Got a new country heard from. I think I've now said that twice in this season. Maybe we shouldn't say that again. They went 8-1 in conference. I feel like we've had a different team represent every single season out of the East. In the West, Southern Miss is back, and they are the number 10 team in the country. Why are they so beloved? Their one loss was to Memphis. I really am struggling to figure out why they're getting so much push to the top of the mountain. But they, if they win, they'll be back in the college football playoff. As crazy as that seems. Ohio, let's go, baby. Oh yeah. We are finally representing the MAC West with an 8-1 conference record, the number 19 team in the country too. Beat Western Kentucky, beat West Virginia, lost to Western Michigan early on in the season, and then just ripped off a bunch of W's. Did play 9 conference games as well. Toledo, it's got to be something with Toledo, because I feel like I see them consistently only playing 7. Same with Western Kentucky, same with Miami. You've got Western Michigan at 7 too. I don't know. Something's wrong there. And then James Madison's back on top, 8-1 in conference. They're number 24 overall. In the Mountain West East, no more North Texas. In fact, they go 2-7 in conference this year. Oh my God. New Mexico. number 25 team in the country this year, goes 8-1, and they will be the representative in the East for the Mountain West. In the West, Boise State is back. It was year one that they made it. Haven't made it back since, so this is the team to do it. They go 8-1 this season. In the Pac-12, it's UCLA and Washington. Arizona State got theirs last year and then decided that they were done. That's all they needed. They finally achieved the bucket list item. UCLA is back, and they are looking for some vengeance as well. This is Washington's first ever time in the Pac-12 title game, so that one should be fun. And then in the SEC, oh my God, what happened to the SEC? Holy shit. A bunch of 6-3 teams. Georgia is somehow still the number 5 team in the country. And their losses go to Ole Miss, Auburn, and then Alabama. I'm really not sure why they are still ranked where they are. Even Tennessee at 5-4 is somehow still highly ranked. They lost to LSU, Georgia, Auburn, and then Alabama. Maybe it's because they beat Washington. I'm not entirely sure. In the Southwest Conference, A&M goes 11-1 this season, 8-1 in conference. They'll take on SMU, who won the conference last year. Houston dropped back down after winning. Rice went 2-7 this year. I remember talking about them. And then Texas goes 5-4. Texas has got to be the most disappointing team so far of this sim. I mean, everything looked like, even maybe Oklahoma, although Oklahoma have both won one. I think they have. What is SMU able to do? That's the real question. ECU beats Southern Miss, and I think both of them are in the college football playoff. ECU wins 32-31. UCLA beats Washington 49-10. Good God, man. Show some pride, Huskies. Boise State wins their second conference title, 24-23 over New Mexico. Nebraska loses to Missouri, and I think they still don't have a conference title. 28-18 is the final there. JMU beats Ohio 34-28. SMU loses to A&M 42-21. Disappointed for my ponies. Louisville loses. No! Previously 3-0 in the conference title game. They lose their first one. This UCF team is good, man. They may make some noise in the CFP. Auburn and Alabama. It's Alabama beating Auburn 38-32 for their second SEC title. Miami beats Duke 42-7, so Duke will not be in the college football playoff. Good Lord. And then Ohio State beats Michigan just like I expected them to, 38-32. As for the college football playoff, we know Michigan and Ohio State will be in there because, of course, they will. It'll also be Miami as the 1 seed, UCLA, Texas A&M, Michigan, Notre Dame, UCF, Missouri, Tennessee, ECU, and Southern Miss. Wow. This is insane, man. I love this right now. Okay, let's go see how this plays out. You know what? I'm gonna make my picks this time. I'm gonna say Georgia beats Southern Miss, Missouri beats UCF, Michigan beats ECU. The Big Ten finally gets their win. Tennessee beats Notre Dame. Ohio State beats Tennessee. Michigan beats UCLA. Michigan beats Ohio State in the semifinal, goes to the national title game. Miami beats Missouri. A&M beats Georgia. Miami beats A&M in the semifinal, and then Miami wins the national title over Michigan. That's my prediction. So we'll see how it plays out. Gotta spice things up here as we get to through year number 5 of this sim. Once we get to year 10, I think I'll just jump to year 30 and they'll kind of recap everything that's happened. I won't actually pay attention to anything. I'll just jump right to the end and we'll find out together. But I want to do, a couple of years of simming here so that we can, be in the moment and really see how things are trending before we get to the end there. So let's see what happened in the college football playoff. Who is the national champion? It is UCLA. I was so wrong, man. How did I do in the first round? Whoa, Southern Miss beat Georgia 38-28. Oh my goodness. And UCF beat Missouri, so I was wrong on both of those. Michigan did beat ECU. Okay, I went 1-3 in the first round. Oh my God. Notre Dame won 43-38 over Tennessee. Ohio State beat Notre Dame 34-13. UCLA beats Michigan 46-44. Miami beats UCF 24-13. A&M beats Southern Miss 42-39. So at least I got the semifinal right up top. I got 3 out of the 4 of the semifinal correct. I'll just throw that out there. Now, yes, 3 of them all three of the ones that I picked were bye teams, but that's okay. We finally had the top 4 teams make the semifinal, and it was the 3 and 4, and UCLA of all teams goes to the national title game, wins 47-21. Year 5 delivered, man. I'll tell you what, that was a lot of fun. Let's go on to year 6, see if it's got some juice still. Year 6, Northwestern is 8-4, as is Notre Dame. We will not have the Fighting Irish in the playoffs for the first time in what seems like a while. In the ACC, Miami, Clemson. This is kind of what it feels like it should be. Miami and Clemson at the top. Duke finishing in 4th. Florida State finishing in that 3 spot at 6-3 in conference. But Miami's kind of got this thing under wraps, man. Have they won a national title yet? That I don't know. Guess who's back again? Louisville on top yet again of this conference. They get to play Pitt for the second time, I think, in the conference title game. But man, this Cardinals team just does not know when to quit. Who else? I mean, UConn's starting to move up a little bit, so that's good to see. So I've realized that ever since we took off the transfer portal, some of the bad teams have actually been able to keep like somewhat competitive rosters. So I think that was a net positive, although Louisville has been under an 80 for a little bit now. It can never, continues to win. In the Big 12, it's Oklahoma and Nebraska. Nebraska is the number 1 team in the country. Their only loss is probably coming to Oklahoma, and they got hammered by them. Oh, my God. Wow. Okay. Yikes. So they'll play each other again. They have the chance to exact revenge on the Sooners, who are looking for, I think these two teams played year 3. It's starting to get to that point where I don't remember how many times they made it, when they made it, and whatnot. Iowa State at the bottom this year. BYU, after winning it in year 1, has not really been back, despite being one of the higher-rated teams. In the Big Ten, it's Michigan and Ohio State yet again. Who won the regular season matchup? That is the question we want to know. It was Michigan. So we know Ohio State is going to win in the conference championship game. Penn State finishes 3rd. Michigan State finishes 4th as the number 11 team in the country. Okay, who did they beat to get there? Illinois. They beat Michigan, so that was Michigan's 1 loss this season, which is why they find themselves up here. Illinois at 8-4. I guess 8-4 is pretty average for the number 24 team. In Conference USA East, it is ECU yet again after their college football playoff appearance. They are going back to the title game. They will be taking on Memphis, who went 7-2. Southern Miss finally dropping out of that spot. Even these teams, okay, not all of them, but some of them are still maintaining. Troy's a 54 overall. Things are not exactly going great in Alabama there. In the MAC West, it is Ball State going 8-1 in conference. Wow, they're the number 16 team in the country. Ohio went 6-3. And then Toledo, they did play 8 games this year. They went 1-7 in conference, so they were just even worse. They've kind of been on a slow downward trajectory. In the MAC East, it is Marshall, 11-1, 9-0 in conference. Even Temple had themselves quite the season at 7-1 in the MAC East. I wonder which team they didn't play. That's the other question that you got to ask yourself. North Texas is back. They spent a year away, but they said, okay, you guys have had your turn. We're back. It's our turn to play. 8-1 in conference. Who was their 1 conference loss to? I am intrigued by that, actually. It was to Arkansas State. Okay, Arkansas State's not a bad team in conference, so it's not the end of the world. Sam Houston went 0-9 in conference. They'll be playing Boise State, who went 12-0, 9-0 in conference. So that'll be a fun one. Boise State's looking for their 3rd. North Texas, I believe, is looking for their 2nd. No, they're looking for their 3rd as well. They have made it now 5 times in 6 seasons. In the Pac-12, it's Oregon and Washington. Who won this regular season matchup? It was, Oregon thrashed Washington. That should be an interesting game. And Oregon also beat Michigan earlier in the season. Completely missed that one. I think they are playing Washington. I just saw it on the schedule. So Washington is going for their 1st. Oregon is going for their 2nd. In the SEC, it's Auburn and Georgia again, I think. Let's check real quick. Yes, it's Auburn and Georgia again. They played 2 years ago and then played again in the national title game. They were the 4, 5, and 6 teams. They all went 10-2 overall and 7-2 in conference. Arkansas and Texas, we got ourselves a nice rivalry game in the Southwest Conference title game. SMU's sticking in there. They're playing some pretty good football still. But the Razorbacks are going to have their first attempt at a conference title. Meanwhile, Texas is back in the thick of things. Miami beats Clemson 35-10. They just continue to prove that they're one of the best teams, one of the best programs in the country. Louisville does it again. I believe that is number 5 for them in 6 seasons. I think that's right. Or no, it's 4 and 6. They made it last year but didn't win. Lost to UCF. They went 33-14. Nebraska finally gets one, 48-8 over Oklahoma. They saw what happened in the beginning of the year and said, never again. We are the best team in the country. And just like I told you guys would happen, Ohio State beats Michigan 31-28. So I believe that's now back-to-back wins in the conference title game for Ohio State over Michigan. Memphis beats ECU 41-24. Marshall beats Ball State 30-13. North Texas beats Boise State 45-31. North Texas has now won 3 Mountain West titles. That is awesome to see. Oregon, I mean, this was the score of the game the first time that they played. 59-27. Wow. Auburn beats Georgia 45-31. And then Texas beats Arkansas 27-22. In the Southwest title game. The college football playoff bracket is as follows. Number 1, Nebraska. Number 2, Auburn. Number 3, Miami. Number 4, Ohio State. So not much different in our top 4 seeds. We've seen a lot of Miami, Auburn, and Ohio State. Number 5 is Michigan. Number 6 is Alabama. Number 7 is Penn State. 8, Georgia. 9, Oregon. 10, Texas. 11, Michigan State. And number 12, Boise State. So Boise State gets the final at-large spot. Okay, let's simulate to the end of the season and see what we've got going on in the college football playoff. In the college football playoff bracket, here's what we have. It's Georgia over Alabama, 40-35. I think that's Georgia's second national title. So it starts with Michigan beating Boise State 42-31. They finally get their first college football playoff win in a long time. Georgia beats Oregon 27-24. Alabama beats Michigan State 42-34. Texas beats Penn State 34-17. Man, the Big Ten just continuously shows that they cannot perform in the postseason. Auburn beats Texas 49-24. Alabama beats Miami 45-35. Georgia beats Nebraska, who's the number 1 seed, or number 1 team basically the entire year, 35-32. Michigan beats Ohio State in the 3rd time. So I guess here's the question for Michigan and Ohio State fans. If you won the regular season game, lost the conference title, but won the college football playoff game, you probably came out on top, right? I mean, that's just wild. Then Michigan loses by 2 to Georgia in the semifinal. Alabama beats Auburn 38-35. We get an Iron Bowl rematch in the semifinal. 3 SEC teams. That is just unbelievable. And we had an SEC team final, and it's Georgia. That is season 6 in the books. Let's go to season number 7. So Notre Dame is back. It was 1 season without him, but you can't get rid of him for that long. Shout out Missouri State, 8-4 this year. We're building something in Springfield. The ACC is Clemson and Duke Miami on the outside looking in for the first time in a while. It feels like Clemson is the number 1 team in the country. Okay, let's be honest here. Outside of that one Florida State appearance a long time ago, how's Virginia doing? Virginia's a 74 overall now. It's been these 3 teams, right? Like, it has just been these 3 teams recycling, doing a ring around the rosy with each other. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, we can say the same thing about the American or about the Big East, right? It's been Louisville and pick of Pitt or UCF. I mean, really, has anybody else come close? Like, what are we seeing from these bottom tier teams? This Pitt team is actually like legit now. 94 overall defense. Are you kidding me? That might be the best one of the best defenses in the game. Wow. I was talking shit on BYU last year, and they said, here, you can eat it. 12-0, 9-0 in conference. They beat Nebraska in the regular season, so they'll play Nebraska again in the conference title game. This will be a fun one. I'm very excited about this. Nebraska is like legit now. They should terrify everybody. Missouri has also been very disappointing. They're a high overall, but just can't seem to get over the hump. Oklahoma went 6-3 in conference and is on the outside looking in. I mean, just you have to give it up for the Michigan Wolverines. They have made it 7 straight seasons to the Big Ten title game and are playing Ohio State again. Okay, now we got to see who won the regular season matchup. Ohio State did 49-20. So you know what that means. Michigan is going to win the conference title game. Michigan State is the number 14 team in the country at 6-3 overall this season. Iowa, a nice 7-2 conference run. They've kind of been a little disappointing. I don't know, maybe not. App State looks like they're going to be the representative in the Conference USA out of the East Division. And the West, it'll be Memphis going 8-1 this season, 11-1 overall. So that'll be a fun one, App State, Memphis. We almost got a rematch of the very first one where USF played Memphis, and I think USF won that game. Ball State is the rep out of the West. No, we still have some teams playing 8. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Is a rep out of the West for the MAC, and then out of the East, it's Marshall again. They went 10-2, 8-1 overall. How about Akron going 10-2? That's probably their best season of all time. They're the number 23 team in the country right now. And Mountain West East, it is Arkansas State, not North Texas. God damn it. I'm like a North Texas fan now. Every time I see a different team, I'm disappointed. But it'll be the Red Wolves getting their first trip to that title game, and they'll be playing a undefeated conference Boise State who went 9-3 during the regular season. In the Pac-10, it was Oregon going undefeated 12-0, 9-0 in conference. USC will be their opponent in the title game. They went 7-2 in conference. In the SEC, it's Ole Miss. Wow, we haven't heard from them in a long time. They went 11-1, 8-1 in conference, and they'll play one of Georgia, Alabama, Florida, or Auburn. I would imagine it's probably Georgia at this point, and now Georgia's been in like how many straight games? And of course, Georgia's a 99 overall because I turn off transfers, so all of their good players that they get in the recruiting classes, they never leave. Yet they still can't win some of these football games. So it's just disappointing if you're Georgia, although they've won a national championship. Just one, right? I think we've had a different winner every single year. Arkansas, Texas, rematch again. So we'll see if Arkansas is able to avenge their loss from last season. That was a 27-22 game in which Texas was able to beat Arkansas. I wonder who won the regular season game between the two of them, if that has any bearing, like what we see with Michigan and Ohio State. Clemson holds on to that number 1 spot, beats Duke 35-27. Pitt finally beats Louisville. Oh, my God. Pitt finally has their first Big East crown, 25-23, the final there. Both teams will be going to the college football playoff. Nebraska dismantles BYU 56-21, getting some revenge for that regular season loss that they had. Oh, my God, no! It's no longer true! I mean, there was a year that didn't happen, but Ohio State beats Michigan in the Big Ten title game. They win 27-16. Memphis beats App State 31-24. They are going to be ranked now. Nice job, Memphis. Marshall beats Ball State 38-36, caps off an 11-win season for them. Boise State beats Arkansas State 33-30. I don't know why. I had a brain fart there and thought Arkansas State maybe won. USC beats Oregon. Wow. 43-32. And Oregon drops from the number 1 team down all the way to 6. Ole Miss beats Georgia, keeps them out of the college football playoff. They win 41-34. And then Arkansas pantses Texas 31-14. But I think Texas might get into the college football playoff over Arkansas. Uh-oh. I mean, that is okay. They don't. That is fortunate. I would have been pretty pissed if that happened. So we've got Clemson as the 1, Ole Miss 2, Nebraska 3, BYU 4. I don't know if BYU deserves to be the 4 after what Nebraska just did to them. The 5 is Ohio State. The 6 is Oregon. 7 Notre Dame. 8 Duke. 9 Louisville. Wait. Oh, no, they don't play each other. I don't know why. I was like, 2 ACC teams playing. Nope, that's not how this video works. 10 is Michigan, 11 Miami, and 13 Pitt. So we haven't had a group of 5 team in we had one last year with Boise State. But this year we're back to all power schools. Man, I'm interested to see how this one goes. We're going to do another prediction for this one. I'm going to be right about it. I feel good about this. Ohio State beats Pitt. Ohio State beats BYU. They go to the semifinal game. Louisville beats Duke. Clemson beats Louisville. It's Clemson, Ohio State in the semifinal game. Clemson wins. They go to the national championship game. Okay? That's the top. The bottom, Oregon beats Miami, loses to Nebraska. Nebraska beats Oregon. Oh, I just said that. I literally just said that. I'm an idiot. So Nebraska's in the semifinal. Notre Dame beats Michigan. Notre Dame also beats Ole Miss. Nebraska beats Notre Dame in the semifinal. Nebraska beats Clemson to win their first ever, not their first ever, but their first in a while since the 97 code title with Michigan, national title. That's the prediction. We'll see how close we are this time. Last time we had 3 out of 4 in the semifinal right, but we only got one of the first round games correct. So it was a little bit of a mixed bag, I would say. Ohio State did beat Pitt. I was right about Nebraska. I was right about Nebraska. At least give me that. I was this close to picking Ohio State to the national title game too. I was this close. So Ohio State beats Pitt 38-30. Duke beats Louisville, so I was wrong about that, 24-16. Oregon does beat Miami 49-35. I was correct about that. Notre Dame beat Michigan 45-31. So I went 3-1 in the first round this year. That's much better. Then Notre Dame also beat Ole Miss 44-26. Nebraska beats Oregon 45-20. Clemson loses to Duke 49-47. So they swapped games there. Clemson wins the conference championship. Duke wins the Orange Bowl. And then Ohio State beats BYU 28-21. So I got 3 out of 4 right again in the semifinal. Clemson just let me down a bit. And then we got Nebraska, Ohio State. I mean, hold on a second, because you can't see this score. Nebraska beat Notre Dame 63-13. 63. They put up 638 yards of offense. Are you kidding me? George Boozer, this freak of a quarterback. Oh my God, dude. Holy hell. I mean, sure. Why not? 63-13 and then 49-35 against Ohio State. They put up another 600 yards. What? I mean, George Boozer is unbelievable, man. I cannot believe this. That's crazy. Now I got to check the Oregon game to see if he put up another big stat line there. Only 433 yards of offense in that one. He threw for 337. That is just wild. That is one of the all-time quarterback performances. I want to see if Notre Dame turned the ball over a lot. They didn't have a single turnover. Bro, that's so embarrassing to give up 63 without a single turnover. Oh, my God. Year 7 was a lot of fun. Year 7 was a lot of fun. Let's go to year 8. I think year 8 is going to be even better. What the hell happened in Independence this year? Nobody went over 500, so that means no Notre Dame in the college football playoff this season. And Miami is back, and Clemson, Florida State almost said, hey, we're back in. And I think Florida State's been to 1 every other year. It's been Duke, Clemson, or Miami. It'll be Miami, Clemson in the ACC title game. Whoa, no Louisville. No Louisville. This is insane. But this Pitt team is legit. I mean, they could win a national title. They're an 88 overall. They've got a 96 overall defense. I'm going to have to go check this out for myself because that's just insane. They'll be playing Cincinnati in the Big East title game because, unfortunately for both Louisville and West Virginia, they only played. Oh, it got them. It got the Big East this year. The bug got the Big East, and so some only played 7, some only played 8. Unfortunate. In the Big 12, it's Nebraska and BYU yet again. This Nebraska team is very good. I'll have to check them out as well. BYU, not great overall-wise, but 11-1, 8-1 in conference. I believe Nebraska won the regular season game, which is why 55-7. Their one loss was to Colorado, 35-21. My God. This is unbelievable. This Nebraska team is legit. They won the national title last year. Can they do it again this year? Oh, my God. I don't know. At 8 years, I think 7 of the 8 years, it's Ohio State, Michigan in the Big Ten title game. And Wow, they played Ole Miss in the non-con. Only lost by a point. That's their one loss in the season. Oh, wow. Ohio State is really good. They won by 1 point in the regular season. Indiana is number 9. They're on they're in the college football playoff, but they're not in the Big Ten title game. And Conference USA East, App State went 9-0. They've got a shot to win a second, I think, title for their program in the Conference USA. Memphis gets the other spot at 8-1 in conference. Jacksonville State almost made it. They were 7-2. They're ranked right now in the MAC West. It's Toledo playing their 7 conference games again. For whatever reason, it just pisses me off, man. It just makes me so angry. They'll be playing James Madison, who went perfect 12-0 in the regular season and are 9-0 in conference. If they beat Toledo, there is an outside shot that they can make the college football playoff. In the Mountain West East, North Texas is back, baby. The Mean Green are on top yet again. They've got themselves a little dynasty going there in the East. In the West, it's Boise State. I believe this is their 3rd straight season being on top of the West, and we'll see if they're able to make it another conference title. They won last year over Arkansas State. In the Pac-12, we got a new team. The California Golden Bears. They're going to be taking on UCLA. It's been a little bit since we've seen UCLA, but they went 12-0 this season, 9-0 in conference. Oregon fell off. Washington fell off a bit. USC is just not as good. Cal, of all the teams, that surprises me a lot, and they could be in the college football playoff. They've got to win, but they could be there. In the SEC, it's Georgia and Ole Miss. Alabama fell off this year. LSU is pretty good, but it's these two teams. If Ole Miss beats Georgia, they knock them out of the CFP. And I believe Georgia was their only loss this season. That is correct. So they have a chance to avenge that if they want to. And then in the Southwest Conference, it's TCU and A&M. Arkansas and Texas. But wow, Arkansas really fell off. Must have had a big senior class leave. Wow. Texas didn't fall off completely, but I don't know if TCU has even made it at this point. So year 8, their first chance to get one. So in the conference championship games, Memphis beats App State 35-21. That's an unfortunate loss for the Mountaineers. Cal beats UCLA. Oh, my God. Cal is in the college football playoff. They kind of embarrassed them, too, 32-19 over the number 1 team in the country. Oh, no, they were number 5. They were undefeated, but they were number 5. Damn, North Texas couldn't do it. Boise State beats them 34-22. Nebraska, this one was much closer, 37-34, but they still find a way to win and have now won back-to-back. Have they won 3 in a row? They've won a lot. I don't know. They own that Big 8 right now. They just absolutely own it. Toledo beats JMU 35-31. A&M does not even keep it close against TCU. So the Horned Frogs win the Southwest Conference. Pitt just hammers Cincinnati 38-23, and they are like Nebraska, one of those teams that you just got to watch out for. Georgia beats Ole Miss, so they get to go to the college football playoff. 31-24 is the final there. Clemson beats Miami 44-31, so Clemson jumps Miami in the CFP rankings, and then Michigan. They beat Ohio State 35-20 because, of course, they do, and that is enough to get them in the college football playoff. You just can't make this stuff up, man. You just can't make it up. So this is how the bracket looks. We've got Nebraska, Pitt, Clemson, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Miami, Georgia, BYU, UCLA, Indiana, Cal, and Michigan. So here's how I think this is going to go. I think Michigan upsets Ole Miss in the first round to set up a Michigan-Ohio State quarterfinal game. I think Ohio State then beats Michigan to go to the semifinal game. I think UCLA beats BYU, and I think Nebraska beats UCLA, and then Nebraska beats Ohio State to go to the national title again. I think Miami beats Cal. I think Clemson beats Miami again. I think Georgia beats Indiana. I think Georgia also beats Pitt. And then Georgia beats Clemson in the semifinal and loses to Nebraska in the national championship. That's how I'm predicting this thing to go. Watch Georgia just completely bottle that prediction. Like, they sim pretty well, I think, when it gets to the CFP. Just something about them. They just seem to be prepared when it comes to the postseason. So that's kind of what my prediction is banking on. And then Nebraska is just, they're really good. They're probably the best team in the game right now. I mean, they are just unbelievable. So let's see how I did. The national champion is Miami. They beat UCLA? What? UCLA? They made it? Miami? I mean, Miami doesn't surprise me too much. So I was wrong about Michigan. Ole Miss beats them 45-31. I was right about UCLA. They handled BYU 31-8. I was right about Miami. They beat Cal 21-17. I was right about Georgia. They beat Indiana 41-26. So I went 3 of 4. Not too bad. Ohio State did end up winning in that quarterfinal game, 35-33 over Ole Miss. Nebraska losing that game to UCLA is just absolutely shocking to me. That is just so surprising. They lose 45-35. And then Miami beats Clemson 27-8, so I was wrong about that game. But then Georgia beats Pitt 38-30, so I was correct about that. Couldn't get it done, though, in the Sugar Bowl against Miami. They lose 34-18. And Ohio State loses to UCLA 38-24. So I believe, I don't know if Miami has won one. I do know that UCLA has won one. So UCLA could have been the first team to get 2 if Miami didn't this year. But Miami gets their first or second, because I can't remember. 31-28 is the final there. So I wasn't too bad on my predictions. So that was pretty okay. We are on to season 9. So we got 2 more that we're going to close sim. And then I'll jump those 20 years and we'll kind of do a recap of everything that happened. And they're back. I hate them so much. Vanderbilt. Finally heard from them for the first time in a while, but I hate Notre Dame so much. They play in the fucking independent, and then they make the college football playoff by having the easiest schedule known to man. Okay, they did play Michigan and Pitt and Clemson and Duke and Louisville and USC. Okay, so maybe their schedule was a little bit harder than I thought. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go to the ACC. It's Duke and Florida State. Oh, the fall off for Clemson and Miami. Both teams not even ranked. Miami just won the national title and is not even ranked anymore. Florida State's back in the championship game for the first time in what seems like ages. This is an intriguing development here in year number 9. Come on. Wait, hold on a second. Do we think that? Okay, we gotta look. I'm excited. We gotta look. Please. No! Damn it. They're playing West Virginia. I wanted them so badly to be playing UConn. Oh, that is so disappointing. But Louisville is just looking to win another conference title. They're an 87 overall now. This team has finally hit its stride. Pitt. Oh, the defense is still pretty solid, but the team has fallen off a little bit after their past 2 seasons. So that is quite sad to see. In the Big 8, I'll tell you who's not going to fall off, though. This Nebraska team is insane, man. Okay. Who is BYU's coach, and why do they keep overperforming their overall? What is going on? Seriously, these are like the best 2 teams in terms of win percentage that we've seen so far in this goddamn thing. Miami's probably up there, too, but what am I looking at? I got to look and see how the regular season matchup went. Okay, it was actually close. It was close. I'll give them that. 10-2, though. I mean, this BYU team, they won't do anything in the playoff, but at least they continue to show up in the regular season. Oh, my God, for the first time ever, Michigan will not be in the Big Ten title game. Oh, my God. Lost to Indiana, lost to Penn State, lost to Michigan State, but did beat Ohio State. So at least they've got that. But it'll be Indiana and Ohio State. Wow. Indiana's first time in this game. They did it before Penn State. I don't know how to feel right now. It feels like a piece of my soul is gone. FIU is back. Whoa, we got 2 top 25 teams from the CUSA East Division. But FIU is back. It's been a while since we've seen them. They'll be playing Southern Miss, who's also back. Oh, no, Louisiana Tech got so close. Just not enough, though. They lost to Southern Miss in the regular season. What was the score of that game? Oh, 52-30, yeah. You're going to have to be a little bit better than that. Southern Miss did lose to Memphis, though. So we'll have Southern Miss versus FIU. Was that the matchup the last time FIU made it? I don't think so. And then Toledo's back. I hate Toledo playing their stupid-ass 7 conference games, getting the nod over Ball State because they've only played 7 conference games. ridiculous. And James Madison, like, I feel like James Madison is pulling a Louisville. Like, they are just unbeatable, man. I feel like they've been a representative out of the East in every single year besides like 2. That's ridiculous. Damn. Arkansas State is back. No North Texas this season. Do we have Boise State in the West? We don't. We have a new rep. It's Hawaii. They go undefeated. Beat Maryland, NIU, FCS, and then ran the gauntlet. Wow. That's a good offense, too. They're putting up 40 points consistently. Well, isn't that exciting? A new rep out of the West. We haven't seen them. We've seen Colorado State and Boise State, and then one San Diego State, I believe. Man, Utah State all the way at the bottom. Looking like Eric Taylor's coaching them right now. Cal again. They're back, and they're playing UCLA for the second straight season. Wow. That is quite the Cal Golden Bears have been quite the development here recently. Arizona State hasn't really been good since the start of this thing when they made 4 straight conference titles. It's been a while since we've seen them in the SEC. Tennessee for the first time ever. Showing up and showing out. They're going to play Georgia because, of course, they are. Why wouldn't they? And then Alabama is somehow also ranked in the top 12, so we'll see them in the college football playoff as well. We'll see 3 of these teams. We haven't seen LSU yet. That does surprise me. Every other team, that you would expect to be in a conference title game now that Tennessee has made it. The only 3 that haven't are Kentucky, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and then LSU. And then in the Southwest, TCU. Wow, great season for them. They'll be taking on either probably A&M. Normally the game gets it right when there's a 2-team tiebreaker. They'll be playing A&M again. Did they win last year? I think they won last year, so maybe they can win 2 in a row. Texas tried to get back into it, but just couldn't. Rice was not at the bottom from what I saw. So that's pretty. Listen, things are going interestingly, in my opinion. Like the way that the sim has gone. You have new powerhouses in like Nebraska, Louisville. Although I wouldn't call Louisville exactly a powerhouse. And you've got some weird seasons where you have an FIU go undefeated. And he won the Heisman! David Iwoma? I don't know how to say his name. 4,100 yards passing, 40 touchdowns. Good God, man. Congratulations. Louisville did not make the college football playoff. Southern Miss loses to FIU. Oh, my God, by 21 points. Wow. 49-28, the final there. UCLA gets some revenge on Cal, beats them 45-30. I think Cal still will make the college football playoff. Hawaii, wow. Gets embarrassed by Arkansas State, 38-14. Nebraska wins again, 38-28. I think that is definitely 3 in a row now that they have won. They own BYU, unfortunately, for the Cougars. I feel really bad for them. Toledo beats JMU again, 34-28. TCU loses by a point to A&M, 24-23. Louisville actually hammered West Virginia, 38-21. Again, they own the Big East. And, of course, Georgia beats Tennessee 37-35. Those teams will both get a bye. Duke beats FSU 47-32. I don't know how many Duke has won, but it has definitely been 2, I think, at minimum. And then Ohio State beats Indiana 48-35. Okay, so now we got to look at the college football playoff. We're going to do our predictions again. I'm having fun with the predictions. I don't know if you guys are enjoying it as well. So Nebraska, Duke, Georgia, Tennessee, Notre Dame, I hate Notre Dame, BYU, Alabama, UCLA, Ohio State, Oregon, TCU, Cal. So Notre Dame's going to beat Cal. I think Ohio State beats UCLA, gets some revenge from last year. I think BYU beats TCU, and I think Alabama usually sims well in these. I think Alabama beats Oregon. Then I think Duke beats Alabama. Georgia beats BYU. Nebraska beats Ohio State. Although if they get a shot at UCLA again, I think they would gladly take that. I think Notre Dame beats Tennessee. I think Notre Dame beats Nebraska in the semifinal game. I think Georgia beats Duke, and it's a Georgia-Notre Dame national title game in which Georgia wins. I'm just never going to pick against Georgia when we get in the goddamn national title because they're every single year, besides the one year they got upset by Southern Miss. They seemingly do super well. And so it's tough to pick against a team that does super well. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's see. It'll also be interesting to see when we go back and check at the history, on the history, to see where coaches ended up because that's not something we've been keeping track of so far. I am in genuine shock right now at this national title game. What? Tennessee out of nowhere wins the SEC for the first time and then wins a national championship. What the hell? Okay, then. So Notre Dame did beat Cal 42-38. Ohio State beat the piss out of UCLA 45-10. TCU beat BYU. That's a little bit of a surprise, 31-27. Man, BYU just great regular season team, cannot get it done in the postseason. And then I almost picked Oregon to beat Alabama, but I didn't, and they won 55-48. And then Duke Duke handled Oregon 41-10. TCU, got all at Georgia, 39-17. And then Duke ekes out a win 22-20 over the Horned Frogs. Nebraska beats Ohio State like I predicted, 45-34. Tennessee, obviously, they won the national title, so they beat Notre Dame, which I had the reverse of, 34-31. And then Tennessee wins 31-29 over Nebraska in that game. So I was right about Nebraska making it to the semifinal and losing. Same with Duke, it was right about Duke getting to the semifinal. Wow, Tennessee. That one is definitely a bit surprising. I cannot lie. Let's go to year 10. Final of the slow sim, I guess you would call it. It's not even slow sim, but you get what I'm saying. And for our final in-depth look, we won't have to worry about Notre Dame this year. That is a blessing from the gods. In the ACC, Miami went undefeated, and they'll take on Clemson in the ACC title game. Florida State, we'll actually see them in the CFP this year, which is nice. Georgia Tech also got ranked as well. So things are happening. Duke fell off a little bit. You doing Blue Devils? Interesting. Louisville back in the CFP, baby. Could be see West Virginia. They only played 8 conference games, so Louisville also only played 8. Interesting. I don't know why that is. You played Kentucky. I wonder if it has something to do with their out-of-conference games, maybe. That I'm not entirely sure of. But they'll play Virginia Tech in the conference title game. I think this is Virginia Tech's second time. Yes, it's their second time in the conference title game. BYU, wow, Nebraska not on top. That means BYU beat them this year. Yep, BYU finally bested them 34-28. They'll play again, obviously, but Nebraska, maybe not the world beaters of the past couple of seasons. Obviously, these two teams will play each other for like the 18th straight year in a row because Oklahoma is no longer the big bad wolf. I don't know if they ever were. Wow. What is going on with Michigan right now? That is the question everybody is asking. Ohio State is playing out of their mind, 11-1, 8-1 in conference. They'll be playing Penn State. Finally, the Nittany Lions make it to the conference title game. It's been way too long. In the Conference USA East, it's App State yet again. They go 8-1 in conference, the number 17 team in the country. Memphis is back yet again. I feel like they've made it quite a few times. In the MAC West, the Bobcats are back, bitches. Come on now. That is huge. That is huge for the brand. And then on the East, it's Kent State. I don't know if we've ever seen this before. We definitely haven't. Wait, hold on a second. There are 57 overall. How in the world did they do that? They also beat James Madison. James Madison is slipping a little bit. They're slipping a little bit in the MAC and the Mountain West. Wow. What happened to my boys? What? They're the best overall by 1 billion. What happened to them? Oh my God. Oh, that's just embarrassing. Well, it'll be New Mexico. I believe this will be the second time that they have made the conference title game. They'll be playing none other than Boise State. They took a year hiatus and then said, okay, it's our turn again. And we had some guys only play 7 conference games again. It happens. Don't worry about it. UCLA, USC in the conference title game. Obviously, UCLA came out victorious in their regular season matchup. USC's playoff hopes are on the line in this one. The Bruins, man, that's a good football program right now. In the SEC, Alabama went undefeated. And LSU came ever so close. They will make the college football playoff for the first time ever. They came ever so close to making the SEC title game. How about Tennessee? A year after winning the national title, falling to 6-6. I got to look at this Alabama schedule, though. Boston College, Duke, Virginia Tech, and then Tennessee hammered. Ole Miss, I mean, Mississippi State is just poverty. 55-31. Really, they only had one close game the entire conference schedule, and it was against Florida. I mean, this team may be the one that does it again. Texas, TCU, wow, they're not even ranked. I mean, Texas isn't even ranked. What happened to them, man? Jeez. Lost to Oklahoma, lost to Tulane. Yeah, man, I don't really know what's going on there. Let's go to conference championship games and see what's going on. My God. Oh, my God, that was 48-14. What the hell happened? And then in the American, Louisville won again because, of course, they did. They're a powerhouse. Wait, they lost? Oh, they lost to Virginia Tech? 31-30. Congrats, Virginia Tech. BYU did it! Oh, my God. They finally beat Nebraska in the Big 10 or the Big 12 championship. It's been since year one since that happened. Ohio State won. It was probably a thrashing. It wasn't. Penn State kept it close. Okay. Nice. App State lost. Oh my God. Memphis beat them 45-3. Holy shit. Wow. The Bobcats, I think they won. They did. Let's go, baby. Oh yeah. 31-27 over Kent State. They will have at least one MAC title before this thing is all over. And I think Boise State won again because, of course, they did. Yeah. Oh, no. New Mexico won. The upset of the century, 34-26. Wow. Unbelievable. In the Pac-12, we already know UCLA won. What was the score? 41-31 over their arch rival. They only get the 5 seed for whatever reason. Game hates them. Of course, Georgia beats them. I swear to God, every time we get to a goddamn postseason game, Georgia wins. Every bloody time. It's like without fail, and then Texas wins their first one in a while. They win 24-23. Close one. They're in the Southwest Conference title game. Ohio State is your 1, Alabama your 2, Clemson 3, Miami 4, UCLA 5, Florida State 6, Louisville 7, Georgia 8, LSU 9. That's an interesting matchup. Very intrigued about that one. West Virginia 10, Nebraska 11, BYU 12. Why in the hell is BYU under Nebraska? Somebody explain that one to me, because that makes no sense. Okay, for my final prediction, I'm going to nail this one. I am going to nail it. Throw caution to the wind here. You guys ready for this one? We're going to start at the bottom. Louisville beats West Virginia. Beats Alabama, gets to the semifinal. That's right. It's Louisville's time. Nebraska beats Florida State. Sorry, Florida State. You finally made it. It's not going to happen for you. Nebraska beats Clemson. Gets to the semifinal game. They're that good. LSU beats Georgia. Call my shot right here, right now. Then Ohio State beats LSU. UCLA beats BYU. We got a rematch of a title game from a couple of years ago. But I think UCLA beats Miami, loses to Ohio State in the semifinal game, and then Louisville makes it to the national championship game and beats Ohio State. Let my nuts hang, baby. Mic drop. And I'm going to be right about it, too. I'm going to be right about it. You just wait and see. I'm going to be 1,000% right about this. Let me bow. Fuck. It's Georgia, Alabama. Because, of course, it is. Louisville didn't even make it on the first round. UCLA beats BYU 19-17. Georgia beats LSU 38-23. Florida State beats Nebraska 36-28. And then West Virginia beats Louisville 34-27. Alabama then beats West Virginia 35-32. Clemson beats Florida State 38-24. Georgia beats Ohio State 34-28. Miami beats UCLA 27-17. Georgia beats Miami 21-7. Alabama beats Clemson 31-24. And Georgia beats Alabama 42-34, because of course Georgia is going to win the national championship. So when we get to the end of this thing, we're going to have 20 more of those to go over. So I hope you are ready for an absolute blast. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally made it to the end of this sim in the Dynasty. It actually takes a lot longer than you would think to simulate 20 more seasons in this game, but not super long. If you couldn't tell, this is a different day. I had to, okay? Don't judge me. So we got to go back to the year we finished in. So 10 years after 2035 would have been, or 2025 would have been 2035. We left off with Miami. We're going to start in the ACC because of course we will. Winning the ACC over Duke. We saw that again in 2036. Then saw Miami win again in 2037. And then they lost to Clemson. And then Clemson and Duke played each other because of course they did. Why wouldn't they? And then it was Miami over Clemson, then Miami over Clemson again, then Miami over Duke. So we see the same four teams the entire time. This goddamn conference had the same 4 teams, and then Georgia Tech was like, well, what if we made an appearance? Duke beats them, so it doesn't really matter. But they made an appearance. Miami wins another one, and they were also the number 1 team in the country again. Clemson then beats Miami, gets some revenge on them. Then Clemson beats Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech said, hey, we'll come back for another one. And then all of a sudden, we have a different winner. North Carolina. This is the first time they even made it. And they won the goddamn conference. They beat Miami 34-22 in this game. Can we talk about this game for a second? Because I just looked at the final score, 59-21. Wow. And then Clemson comes back and wins, beats Miami again. So Miami lost 2 in a row. Sucks for them. Then Miami beats Clemson. Tough. Also, Kalen DeBoer is somehow at Clemson at this point. When did that happen? Okay, that happened sometime after 2034. I'm probably those years that Clemson wasn't very good. And then Clemson goes on a 4-game win streak, beats Miami 3 times in a row. I mean, come on. So they beat Duke and they beat Miami, and then Miami comes back and beats Clemson in the final year of the sim. So now we have to count how many times each team won the conference. So we're going to start in 2025. Miami beats Duke. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times in 30 years Miami won this conference. Are you kidding me? Clemson has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So basically what that's saying is that 27 of the years were either won by Miami or Clemson. Obviously, Duke has their 1. Duke has 2, and then North Carolina has 3. I mean, this is ridiculous. The only other 2 teams to make it besides Duke and North Carolina were Georgia Tech twice and then Florida State, I believe, twice. Yes. This is ridiculous. I actually now have to count. So I said Miami won 14 times. So now I got to count how many times Miami actually made it. 15. Oh, wait, hold on. 15 in 2026, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 out of the 30 seasons in this sim in the ACC, Miami at least made the conference title game. Now, it's a little bit, you got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, right? Because there are only 10 teams in the conference. With that being said, it is still ridiculous that they made it 24 times out of 30 years. Unbelievable. Now we got to go to the American. Holy shit! Corey Heatherman! What in the world is West Virginia doing? Kalen DeBoer was at Louisville. That's why they were so good for a little stretch there. That makes so much more sense. Okay, so we left off in 35. Louisville came back and won 2 more, both against West Virginia. Then Pitt got another one. Then Louisville came back. Then West Virginia won 6 straight conference titles over Boston College, Louisville again, Pitt, Louisville again, Louisville a 4th time. Then Louisville comes back, breaks up the run a little bit over West Virginia. And then West Virginia comes back for 1, 2, 3, 4 more before Louisville beats Rutgers of all teams, who made the Big East Conference title for the first time ever. Then came back, won 2 more, West Virginia did, and then Louisville finally said, okay, we're back. This West Virginia run is absolutely insane, by the way. Just like out of nowhere, decided that they were going to run shit. I mean, I guess they had made it previously. They just hadn't won it. So let's count Louisville real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times they won the Big East. I think West Virginia might have been close to matching that. I think they have 12. 2, 6. There's 6 here, so that's 12. Yep. And then they made it 4 more times. They lost 5 more times. Excuse me. They lost all of those. So they have, what did I say? They had 12. So they made it 17 times over the course. Well, actually, it's probably more, right? 18, 19 times. They made it 19 times over the course of the 30 seasons. Louisville probably made it just as much. So what did I say? Louisville made it 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like, Louisville was absolutely cooking these teams. I mean, they just owned this conference. Even when it was a down year for Louisville, they were still winning. So then Virginia Tech has 1, 2. I think that's it. Saw Pitt with 3. So the way it goes is Louisville with 13, West Virginia with 12, Pitt with 3, and then Virginia Tech with 2. And UCF had their 1 in there as well. Cincinnati has also made it, so they made it 1 time. Boston College made it once, and then Rutgers made it once. Other than that, it was Pitt, it was West Virginia, or it was Louisville. That is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that's literally insane. I cannot believe this. Corey Heatherman is one of the greatest coaches of all time. Because, like, and I imagine we'll see West Virginia winning a couple of national titles because this is ridiculous. I mean, we're talking about a run from 2040 when he got there. I'm not sure if he was the coach in those other seasons. So from 2040 to 2054, so over the course of 15 seasons, he won 12 conference titles. Are you? I mean, like, that is just ridiculous. That is insane. Okay, time to move on to the Big 12. Dude, I love this so much. This is amazing. The BYU-Nebraska back and forth is truly remarkable. Hold on a second. So, right, we finished in 2034. That was our 10th sim. We saw Nebraska win 4 straight, and then BYU finally come back and beat Nebraska after losing 3 straight. Then it was Kansas State, Oklahoma State. Chris Kleiman had Kansas State playing really good football. They were number 3 team in the country. Neither Nebraska nor BYU made it. The last time that happened would have been in 2028 when Kansas State and Missouri both made it. And then it was Nebraska 3 more times, beating BYU and Oklahoma twice. Then BYU comes back and beats Nebraska. Breaks up that run. And then Oklahoma beats BYU. And then Nebraska beats Oklahoma. And then BYU wins 4 straight. Colorado finally made it. They beat Missouri, Colorado, Missouri again, then Nebraska. And then Oklahoma State wins one over number 1 BYU, 30-28. Jeff Traylor, head coach of the Cowboys at this time. Then Nebraska comes back and wins one. Then Nebraska loses 5 straight. 4 to BYU. 1 to Oklahoma. Then they come back and win the final 2. I mean, this conference was probably my favorite because of the Nebraska-BYU rivalry that ended up happening. Like, Utah, nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found in this. It's just kind of ridiculous because you would, like, assume, oh, it's Utah, right? Nope. I mean, just not even close. So BYU, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 conference title wins. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 appearances. Okay. Pretty damn good. That's 20 appearances in 30 seasons. Nebraska. Man, I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot. Like, they have probably been in the conference title game, I would say 26 times. No, it's not 26 times. It's probably 24 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So BYU has them on conference titles. BYU's got the leg up there. But Nebraska, so I said 11, right? I keep forgetting. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So I was 2 off. They made it 22 times. How long? Who the fuck is Mark Ryan? This Mark Ryan guy is pretty damn good. And then Jed Fish takes over Nebraska in 2041 and stays at Nebraska for a while. And then Kirby Smart takes over Nebraska for some reason. He must have got fired from Georgia. That's the only explanation there. I wonder if it was after Kalani. Kalani stayed the entire time at BYU. That is pretty cool. Josh Heupel took over Oklahoma at one point. Okay, so let's look at Oklahoma. Probably the most disappointing team, I think, in this sim. So they win in year number 2, and they don't win again until 2040, which is a long time. They made it. They just never won. And they won a third time in 2049. So they won 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Made it 9 times. They won 3 of them. That is pretty embarrassing. Missouri has 2 to their name. Kansas has 1 to their, or Kansas State, I should say, has 1 to their name. Oklahoma State has 1 to their name. Obviously, everything else was Oklahoma, BYU, or Nebraska. The other teams to make it and not win, actually, I don't think there was one. Everybody that made it, Colorado that one time. Yeah. So Missouri made it 4 times, it looks like, over the course of the 30 seasons, winning 2, losing 2, and the 2 they won with Butch Jones as their head coach, back-to-back seasons. Very interesting. Okay, now we got to go to the Big Ten, and guys, you remember our first 10 years. Can only imagine what is about to come. Yep, I mean, we see a little bit of variety here. We've seen a little bit of variety, so that's nice at least. So we left off in 2034 with Ohio State beating Penn State after Michigan had decided that they didn't want to play in the game anymore for 2 straight seasons. They didn't make it again for a 3rd year, but then made it back again, beat Michigan State 41-31. Then it was Wisconsin that won. The first non-Michigan or Ohio State win came in 2037. What? Yeah, it gave it 20. We started in 2025. So 13 seasons later, we finally got one. Then Penn State won there first. Then Michigan came back and won. Then Ohio State won 2. Then Michigan State won there first. And Penn State won their second. Then Ohio State won there. I don't count how many days or how many they won. Ryan Day was still the head coach in 2044. Marcus Freeman, the head coach of Penn State at some point. Dave Aranda's at Michigan State. And then Michigan rips off 5 straight, beating Penn State 3 times, Illinois once, Ohio State once. Then Wisconsin came back, beat Michigan State. Then Michigan State, who was coached by Lane Kiffin at this point, beat Ohio State. And then Michigan, still coached by Greg Malone, by the way, won 3 more. So I would imagine that Michigan probably came out on top in terms of how many conference titles they won during this. So 1 in 2025, they beat Ohio State. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 and 30 seasons. I just don't know if Ohio State had that kind of motion. Now they had some good wins. I just don't know if they had enough. So in 26, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So they had 10. So they were 4 off. Michigan had them by 4. It was literally those last couple of years. So Michigan said 14. Let's count how many times they made it, because I am intrigued by this. So this would have been 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I mean, they won it most years they were in it. They only lost 5 of them. That is just ridiculously insane. I mean, you have to think that Greg Malone's probably one of the best coaches in the country. I am curious about that. We will go check that after we go through this, and then the national title contenders as well. So 14 for Michigan, 10 for Ohio State. They probably made it a decent amount too. Michigan State finished with 2. Wisconsin also finished with 2, and then Penn State finished with 2. We saw Indiana a couple of times. They lost both times they were in it. Oh, actually, through the 3 times they were in it, they lost. We had Wisconsin. No, we had Iowa. Iowa's the other team. They've made it twice, lost both. Illinois made it once, and they lost to an undefeated Michigan team at the time. I do want to count record in Michigan-Ohio State conference title games. So Michigan went 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3, 6-3, 6-4. Okay, so 6-4 in conference title games over the course of the 30-year sim. Greg Malone, apparently the head coach for all of those years. Ryan Day around for a very long time as well. That's that's not what I expected after where we had left off with Michigan. The same coach, and then they finally figured it out. We'll go to the big conferences first before we go to the other ones. Oh my God, UCLA had themselves a dynasty going on. So in 2035 or 2034, if you'll remember, we saw UCLA back-to-back conference titles. They had played really well. They had won a national championship, I think, in like 2029, I think is the year they won it. They were playing really good football. USC comes back and beats UCLA. Then UCLA comes back and beats USC. Then USC comes back and beats UCLA. So in the span of 4 years, they played each other 4 times in the conference title game. Each one won. That is pretty neat, if you ask me. Then Cal beats UCLA again for their second conference title. Then UCLA beats USC again. And then USC beats UCLA. And then Cal beats USC. I love these kinds of 3-year stretches when you get, okay, UCLA beats USC. Team that loses goes on to win, beats another team. It's just so fun to see stuff like that. So Cal wins again, this time over USC. Then UCLA comes back, beats Stanford, comes back, beats USC. Cal beats UCLA again. Man, Cal had UCLA's number in the in the conference title game until, so after 2044, UCLA won 4 straight all over Cal. 31-26, 35-34, 44-22, 31-21. Damn, that's tough. Then Oregon, just a random Oregon in here, beats USC. Then UCLA comes back, beats USC. UCLA comes back and beats Washington. UCLA comes back, beats Washington. Then USC beats Stanford. Finally, Stanford makes it again. And then Cal caps us off. I think they finished with 4. So UCLA had Liam Dillon for a while. Yeah, he was their coach for most of this. After Patrick Scoley won in 2029, he was their coach for a good while here. And then after this last one, they were then coached by DJ Durkin, of all people. Just very odd. So let's count up UCLA's conference title victories because there are a hell of a lot of them. Remember Arizona State, how they won those, or they made it to the first 4? They never made it back. Just wanted to point that out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 wins for UCLA. They made it 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 times over the course of these 30 seasons. They were just phenomenal. So Oregon won 3, I think. Yep, so they ended up winning 3. Cal ended up winning 4. 5. Cal, how about that? Cal won 5 of these things. USC won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They won 7. So UCLA with their 13 or however many I said. USC with 7. Cal with 5. And then Oregon with 3. Nobody else. Oh, actually, Arizona State had that 1 year that they won. Nobody else won 1. Washington made it 1, 2, 3, 4 up there. Yeah, they made it 4 times, lost all 4 of them, and they made it in subsequent seasons, which is very interesting. Stanford made it twice, lost both. Other than that, nobody else made it. So we didn't see a Washington State, an Oregon State. Who else is in? Arizona never made it, which is a little bit surprising. You would think at some point they make it. Guess not. But that is how the Pac-12 went in the SEC. Yeah, it's a lot of Georgia. Lincoln Riley? I mean, okay, sure. Why not? Yeah, so we left off on a Georgia run. They won a couple national titles, and they just won it again in 2035. They beat Tennessee, so we did hear from Tennessee again. Then Florida beat Ole Miss. Then LSU finally made a conference title in 2037. They did lose to Alabama. Then Tennessee came back 2 times, beat Alabama. Man, how many in a row did Alabama make? Good God. Who was their head coach at this time? Was it Mike Bobo? Jesus. Ole Miss then beats Alabama, so they lost 3 straight. Alabama comes back, beats Georgia. Florida then beats Alabama. LSU wins there first, beats Alabama. Georgia beats Alabama. Ole Miss beats Alabama. Alabama beats LSU. Alabama beats Georgia. Ole Miss beats Alabama. Georgia beats Alabama. Alabama beats Georgia. Alabama, dude, I think Alabama made, I mean, this is ridiculous. And Liam Dillon took the Alabama job after Mike Bobo left for somewhere else, retired maybe. Shout out Liam Dillon, man. He might be up there with Greg Malone. And then Georgia finished it off by beating the piss out of them 3 straight seasons. I have to count this run for Alabama. So starting in 2037, they made it every single year. Every single year, Alabama was in the SEC title game until the end of this thing, until 2054. What? Are you kidding me with that? I mean, that is absolutely insane. Now, Georgia's definitely going to have the most. I mean, they just consistently beat the shit out of teams. So 1, 2, so 5 there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not as many as I thought. Alabama has 4 up here. 5, 6, 7, 8. So they just won 8. Auburn won in 25. Then again in 28. So that's 2, 3. I don't think we saw them again after that win. We didn't. LSU has 1. Tennessee has 2. And Ole Miss has 1, I think. No, they have 2, 3. So they have 3. Florida has 1. I mean, good God. Alabama and Georgia made it so many times. So so Georgia had 10. I'm remembering correctly. 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17. So they made it 17 times. We're going to count Alabama's now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 times they made it, and they won just 6 of them. Yeah, listen, I'm no mathematician, but or 8 of them. Still, I'm no mathematician, but that number isn't really adding up. I think you got to be a little disappointed if you're an Alabama fan. They did win a couple, but Georgia kind of owns their ass, if we're being completely honest. I mean, Lincoln Riley was just taking these guys to town. When did Kirby leave? So Lincoln Riley first won in 2049. The last Kirby Smart conference title was in 2044, so somewhere in between there. So now for the Southwest Conference. Yeah, TCU was starting to go on a run there, so this is not surprising me seeing all of this. Towards the end of that sim, we had seen TCU 3 straight years in the conference title game. So, again, not surprised. Shannon Dawson, the head coach of Texas at this point. Interesting. Man, TCU's kind of been all over the place. So Baylor then beats Arkansas. I think that was their first. Texas beats TCU. Then TCU beats Texas A&M. TCU beats Texas. Texas beats Arkansas. TCU beats Arkansas. TCU beats A&M. Texas beats Texas Tech. TCU beats Baylor. TCU then beats A&M the next 2 seasons. Tulane wins 1. I never thought we'd see Tulane on top of this. Obviously, Rice was never going to be on top of it either. They beat Texas 44-40 for their first Southwest title victory. And then TCU beats A&M, then Baylor beats Texas, then TCU beats Texas, then TCU beats A&M, then Baylor beats Texas, then TCU beats A&M again, then Texas beats A&M, and TCU beats Texas. I don't think, how many times did A&M make it since they last won? So they last won in 2033. They made it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more times without winning it since then. That is just brutal. So you got to keep in mind, we started this thing in 2025. TCU did not appear in a conference title game until 2032. So just keep that in mind. It's kind of like the West Virginia thing, okay? They won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 conference titles from 2032, when they first appeared in their first game, to 2054. So over the course of 23 years, they won 13 conference titles and went to 1, 2, 3 more. Are you kidding me? Bro, they didn't lose one after 2036. Every time they made it, they won. So 12 of their conference titles came after this loss in 2036. At this point, they were 1-3 in conference title games and then just ripped off 12 straight. That is just insane. Arkansas was a sneaky good team as well. I feel like this conference had the highest percentage of teams to make it. No. Well, because in the SEC, 70% of the teams made it. Here, Tulane also made it. At this point, I think the only team we would be missing is Rice. So maybe they are. Let's count some of the other schools, though. So Texas Tech has won. They never won it again after this season. Texas has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They won it 7 times. So honestly, not too bad. But TCU did kind of steal your lunch money there. A&M won it. Oh, Baylor did win one in 27. I forgot about that one. A&M won it 1, 2, 2 times. Yikes, man. They made it so many times. To lose all of those, that is disappointing. SMU's got them 1. Baylor's got 1, 2, 3, 4 over the course of those 30 seasons. And then Arkansas has the 1. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we covered all of our bases. Everybody that made a conference title game won one. Because obviously Tulane, that 1 year that they made it, they won it. So, I mean, that's always... Oh, I lied. I lied. Houston did not win one. They played SMU. SMU beat them. That was the only time Houston made it. Steege? Is that Steege Wheeler? Or what? What is that name? Also, SMU never made it back. Texas Tech did make it back in 2042, so it wasn't all zeros for them. But yeah, after this, 2029, SMU never made it back. After 2028, Houston never made it back. Tech won or made it back one more time, but it was really Arkansas, Baylor, A&M, and Texas and TCU. Those were the 5 teams that were rotating in and out of the conference title game. Okay, so now let's look at the big guys, the big conferences. Oh my God! So you got to remember, Jesus, Memphis. You got to remember East and West, right? So Memphis would be in the Western division of this conference. So keep that in mind. Everybody else is the East. So 2034, we saw Memphis win. They came back and won again in 2035, also over App State. We're back, but then lost to USF, who represented the East. Then it was ECU and Jacksonville State. So ECU, I think this was their second win, yes. Then Jacksonville State wins there first. Then Memphis comes back and wins. Then App State gets the best of Memphis, wins that one. Then ECU beats Jacksonville State again in 2041. Then Memphis comes back, beats ECU. Then App State beats Memphis. Then Memphis beats FIU. Memphis beats App State. Then Southern Miss is back and better than ever. Number 10 team in the country beats ECU. Wow, 13-0 for the Golden Eagles. Then App State comes back and beats Memphis. And then Memphis says 1, 2, 3, 4, beating App State and ECU 2 times. Then they lose to ECU. Then they beat ECU 2 more times. So Clark Lee was the head coach at this point. He left. And then it was Javante Rivero. Ryan Silverfield. What was he doing back? Huh? I mean, as you can see, there was a lot of different coaches, but Memphis had just a higher prestige than every other team, so it doesn't surprise me that this happened. However, they won it a ridiculous amount of times, so we are going to count. Oh, no, Jacksonville State won in 26. I forgot about that. So Memphis won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times. They won half of the conference titles. They made it 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 times over 30 seasons. Going 15-7 in those games is extremely impressive. USF only won twice, which was a little surprising. You would figure they would come out of the East more often, but I think the East was a little bit better than the West, in my personal opinion. App State won the East a lot, it seems like. FIU got 2. I don't think they won when they got back. They did not. ECU's got 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like. Jacksonville State has 1, 2. App State won a couple. They won 1, 2, 3, 4. So App State's got 4. And then Southern Miss won just the 1. They made it a bunch of times. They represented the West. Basically, whenever Memphis didn't, it was Southern Miss. And they just lost a bunch of times. Actually, this is interesting. So Charlotte did make it out of the East. So Charlotte and Kennesaw State also made it. Those are two teams that we haven't seen yet. Western Kentucky, nope, not wrong conference. Disregard that. FIU. Really, so these conferences are super big, and that's another thing that we have to remember. Memphis and App State and ECU and then Southern Miss really just had this thing on lock for most of it. But in terms of the Western teams, it was Memphis, Jacksonville State, Southern Miss, Memphis, Southern Miss, Memphis, 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 Southern Miss, Memphis, 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 Jacksonville State, Jacksonville State, Memphis, Memphis, Jacksonville State, Memphis, 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 Southern Miss, Memphis. 3 teams. Only 3 teams won the West Division. I mean, what? That is insane. So ECU's got 2. Wow, ECU made it a bunch of times, but just never showed up and really won. At least we had some variance in the East. It's not much more variance, but it was some. You at least had, FIU, USF, your Charlotte and Kennesaw State in these 2 seasons showed, wow. Just complete dominance. I think the East won more times than not, obviously. If Memphis has 15 of them, and then Jacksonville State has a handful, then so does Southern Miss. But really, to be represented by 3 teams that entire time is just absurd. It is absurd that no other team. There were 20-team conferences, so there were 10 teams in that division, and only 3 of them made the conference title game. Unbelievable. In the MAC, I bet we'll see a lot of James Madison. Ohio a couple of times. Okay, let's go to... So we left off with Ohio winning, beating Kent State. James Madison won the next 3. 2 of them came... Oh, wow, Jason Candle at Ohio. He was a long-time Toledo coach. That's interesting. Beat Ohio in 2 of the seasons, beat Western Kentucky. Buffalo comes back, beats Central Michigan. Then Toledo beats Buffalo. Then James Madison beats Ohio. Then Buffalo beats Western Michigan. Then Western Michigan comes back, beats Buffalo. I think this is the first time we saw Western Michigan in there. Then Ball State beats James Madison. Then Ohio beats James Madison. Then Buffalo beats Ohio. Then Ball State beats James Madison. Then James Madison beats Ohio again. Good God, James Madison kind of owned Ohio a little bit there. Then Buffalo beats Ball State. Then Ohio beats James Madison. Then Marshall beats Ohio. Then Ohio comes back, beats Marshall. Then Toledo beats Buffalo, and James Madison beats Central Michigan, then James Madison beats Toledo. I wonder if any of these teams... So maybe in 2044, Ohio actually made the college football playoff. I think they did. Sean Dre. I think they're the only team from the MAC to make the college football playoff, which is kind of insane over the course of these 30 seasons. So Toledo had a lock on things early, and then it just fell apart. Wow, that's a little bit surprising. I feel like we were talking about them a lot, and then they just kind of disappeared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 conference titles for them. Oh, no, they did have one in 2052, so that's 6 for them. Now we'll count JMU. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 for JMU. Wow. Okay, not as many as I thought. Marshall had 2, and then a third one up here, I believe. Yep. Ohio had 1, 2, 3. I think that's it. Nope, 4. That one in 2034. Old Dominion had the one in 2027, and then never won it again. Buffalo had 4. Western Michigan had that one as well. Ball State got themselves 2, it looks like. Ball State made it a couple times, and then Miami had that one. I feel like there was a lot of good parity in this conference for the most part. Kent State made it. You see, like, Central Michigan made it. Like, you see some other teams that you don't commonly see at least make it. Central made it again. Buffalo made it a couple of times. Never saw Akron. Never saw Eastern Michigan. Never saw NIU. Western Kentucky barely made it. They made it the one time, which is a little bit surprising. I mean, you would think Western Kentucky is going to be somebody that makes it often, but they didn't. We never saw Delaware, never saw Temple, never saw UMass. I'm trying to, am I missing some teams? We never saw, we did see ODU the one time. We never saw Liberty, which is a surprising one. They finally got to play competition their level, and wouldn't you know it, they couldn't win. But that's the MAC for you. And then in the Mountain West, good God. You know exactly what we're going to talk about. The rivalry that happened between North Texas and Boise State is truly remarkable. So we left off with New Mexico beating Boise State. Nice. Then North Texas beat Boise State. Then Boise State beat Tulsa. This is the first time Tulsa made it. So the year after, or 2 years after we stopped, Tulsa finally got good. Tulsa then beat Boise State. Then Boise State beat New Mexico. Then Colorado State beat Arkansas State. Then Boise State beat New Mexico State. New Mexico State, how about that? Then Tulsa won again, beat Colorado State. Then North Texas beat San Diego State. Then Fresno State beat North Texas with Lane Kiffin as their head coach. Huh? What? Then Tulsa beat Jimmy Rivera. And then Justin Wilcox, who's the head coach of Boise State at this point, won. Jake Spavital is somehow the coach at North Texas at this point. They beat Boise State again with Mitch McPherson, then beat Boise State again, then beat Colorado State. Then Boise State comes back, beats North Texas 2 times with Kirby Moore, whoever the hell that is. Then Mitch McPherson and North Texas beats San Diego State. Then Boise State beats Tulsa with Kenny Dillingham as their head coach. And then we finish it off the way we absolutely should have with North Texas and Boise State. North Texas over Boise State. I think Boise State might have them, but I'm not entirely certain about that. So we got to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know. North Texas might have them. So 11 for Boise State. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They both won 11 times. Of course they did. I mean, of course they did. Why wouldn't they, right? Oh, my God. How many years did we have either North Texas or Boise State? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 27 of the 30 seasons were either North Texas and Boise State or one of the other. That is unbelievable. I can't imagine that. The years that didn't have one or both of them was Tulsa versus Colorado State in 2041. It was Colorado State versus Arkansas State in 2039, and it was Arkansas State Hawaii in 2033. So the 22 years that either Texas State or North Texas or Boise State won, we've got that. Let's talk about the other teams now. So Colorado State won it in 2026. That was one of 3 for them. That was one of 2 for them. They made it a couple of times, but they only won twice. Tulsa won it 3 times, and then Fresno State won it a singular time. New Mexico won it a singular time. Arkansas State won it a singular time, although they didn't make it 3 times. San Diego State made it twice, right? Never won. Hawaii never won, but did make it 3 times for San Diego State. My bad. New Mexico made it a couple of more times on top of the one that they won. So we did see some decent rotation, but we never saw a Nevada team make it. Never saw Utah State. Never saw Wyoming. So there was some difference in what the Mountain West was showing us. There wasn't much difference in what the Mountain West was showing us beforehand and what followed afterwards. North Texas just became a powerhouse. Obviously, Boise State was always a powerhouse. In terms of the Heisman Trophy, wow, we had some Mountain West guys win it. So Georgia quarterback, USC wide receiver, Ohio State quarterback, Duke wide receiver, Oklahoma quarterback, Alabama wide receiver, Nebraska wide receiver, Alabama wide receiver, and there's the Tulsa running back, UCLA quarterback, Duke wide receiver, West Virginia wide receiver, UCLA quarterback, Alabama quarterback, UCLA quarterback, TCU quarterback, Michigan State wide receiver, North Texas quarterback. So we had 3 group of 5 guys win it. I don't think we had anybody repeat. Does not look like it. I am curious, though, real quick, about the Coach of the Year. Which one is that? Oh, here it is. I literally just passed it. So we had James Madison coach Hale Simmons win it twice. We had Phil Ward win it at San Diego State, Clark Lee at Memphis, Joe Rossi. Wow. That's a name that I didn't think I'd see. Win it at Ohio. Mitch Wagner at Oregon, Jake Spavital at Baylor, Greg Munlo Greg Malone at Michigan, Jason Candle at UMass, Jonathan Brewer at Memphis, Josh Lippett at James Madison, Mike Norvell at Baylor, Cesar Saavedra at North Texas, Delvin Gay at Buffalo, Willie Korn at James Madison, Mick Cloud at Toledo, Justin Wilcox at Boise State, Doug Colombo at James Madison, Shane McShane, brother. What is that name? At Boise State, Justin Burke at Western Kentucky, Tyler Walker at Kent State, Kendall Briles at Arkansas State, Heupel at James Madison. Man, he was everywhere. Holy crap. Shane Beamer at Boise State. Who didn't coach for Boise State at this point, if we're being completely honest? My goodness. Okay, now for what we've all been waiting for, the national championships. Who won the most national titles over the course of these 30 seasons? Well, looks like Alabama won quite a bit, even though they didn't win the they didn't win the SEC. Mike Bobo had himself a day in the college football playoff. Okay, so we stopped in 2034 with a Georgia win. We then went Miami over Ohio State, Florida over Georgia, Alabama over Miami, Alabama over UCLA, Alabama over Texas, Clemson over Miami, West Virginia over Alabama, Florida over Alabama, Michigan over Cal, Nebraska over UCLA. They win their second. Alabama over TCU, Alabama over UCLA, Alabama over Michigan, Ole Miss over Clemson, Georgia over Alabama, Georgia over UCLA. BYU wins their first over Alabama, goes, 16-0. West Virginia beats UCLA, Alabama beats Michigan, Alabama beats Clemson. So somehow Alabama ended up coming out on top of this. It's just the most frustrating thing. They won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I skipped one. They won 9. I mean, it's just remarkably unbelievable that they still somehow managed to win 9 national titles in this goddamn sim. Whatever, man. That's just very frustrating. Georgia had 3, 4, 5. So they are in second place with 5. West Virginia has 1. BYU has 1. Ole Miss has 1. Nebraska has 2. Michigan has 1. Florida has 2. Clemson has just the 1, I believe. UCLA has the 1. Ohio State with 1. Miami had 1. Yep, that was it. Wow. Crazy. Duke made it, didn't win. That Tennessee win is just still so shocking. They just kind of came out of nowhere. A&M made it, didn't win. Auburn made it, didn't win. Who else made it and wasn't able to pull out a victory? Texas, of all teams. Clemson only made it twice? That's a little surprising. Cal made it, didn't win. It's the year that Michigan finally won. I mean, how many times did Michigan make it and not, make the college football playoff and not win anything? My goodness. But that was it. Yeah, Michigan made it 3 times. Clemson made it 3 times, I think. Ohio State didn't make it after 2035. Very odd. Very odd indeed. But of course, Alabama. Why wouldn't they? So let's look at coaches' stats now. I am very curious. Ryan Beard ended up having a 56 win percentage at Missouri State. Ended up with 215 wins. So good on him. Who is the most? Wow. Kirby Moore. Don't know who that is, but he's got 254 wins. Garrett Riley at Purdue has 250. Joe Rossi at Ohio. Oh, he only went 8-5. Really? I guess. But he's got 248 wins. I'm pretty sure some people are probably gone from this at this point. Winning season, because if they retire, right? Oh, no. Kirby Smart is, why is it not showing up then? Huh. I sorted by, I don't know, man. Can I go? Yeah, I'm at head coach. Very weird. Dude, Corey Heatherman is one of the greatest, literally one of the greatest coaches of all time. 340 wins, has an 80% win percentage. Greg Malone also did himself really well. Brian ended up with 36 winning seasons. Greg Malone had 29. Lou Hernandez, who is really Mario Cristobal, only lost 91 times in his entire career, had 30 winning seasons. 39 winning seasons for Kirby Smart, who's now at Nebraska. Matt Campbell at Notre Dame finished with 38. Ryan Day, 36. Like we talked about, Lincoln Riley, 36. Kalani Sitake with 36. Jeff Brom with 36, who's at Tennessee. Mike Elko still at A&M. Wow. Josh Heupel at Oklahoma. We talked about Lou Hernandez, Kalen DeBoer, who is now at Clemson, Lane Kiffin, who somehow made his way back to USC, Greg Malone, and Spencer Danielson. Wow. Only made the playoffs 2 times. Nice. In terms of playoffs, obviously Liam Dillon, who was probably the head coach of a lot of those. No, it was Mike Bobo, but Liam Dillon was probably the coach for the last 2. He was unbelievable. He took UCLA to a national title. He took Alabama to a couple. Obviously, Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann was really good in the playoffs as well. Lou Hernandez, not so much. Yeah, Greg Malone never really did much in the playoffs, 18 and 17. Same with Ryan Day, very disappointing. Kevin Buck, whoever this guy is, whatever team he was I don't know what team he was with, but he had a 23-5 record in the college football playoff. Wow, that is amazing. He won 5 national titles. I wonder if he was an offensive or defensive coordinator for some of those, because there's no way that he is tied with Kirby Smart. There's just no way, right? I cannot believe that. Conference championships, yeah, Corey Heatherman, we already talked about him. Liam Dillon as well. Won a lot with UCLA and then won a lot with Alabama. I mean, how many of those, once Mike Bobo retired, how many of those were Don Martindale? Wow. They put Wink. They got Wink here at Michigan State as the head coach. That's crazy. In terms of first-round draft picks, Ryan Day, of course, had 93. Kirby Smart had 64. But apparently, so Ryan Day had 93 first-round draft picks, but only had 54 overall draft picks. So that makes a lot of sense. Top 5 recruiting classes, Georgia was 37. Ryan Day with 32. This is how OP Ohio State and Georgia are in terms of recruiting. I mean, just come on, man. This is ridiculous. Okay, that does it. There is everything you needed to know. We did our Sims. Basically, all you need to know is that if Josh Pate had his way and became college football commissioner, Alabama would still win a bunch of national championships. That's what we've learned here today. Nothing new, nothing we haven't seen before in college football. They just continue to find great coaches and win football games because they have the best infrastructure. So if that's not the answer you wanted, I'm sorry. But if Pate had his way, Alabama would be at the top of the world. Sorry about it. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you on the flip. See ya.